Good morning, and welcome to Mornings with Nate. It's interesting, just getting started in the mornings. I always kind of talk about how I got my day started. Yesterday was kind of interesting because I was running late and I got in here. And technology, we've got so much technology that I'm kind of surrounded by, and high level computers with fast CPUs and speedy video cards. I think it's the kind of thing that if you want to do this on a certain level that you have. And so yesterday, my cloud service was not working. And so what that meant is that I could not broadcast out to the people who were actually on the We page. I just broadcasted out to everybody who was on my fan page. And it seemed like the second that I shut down the broadcast, I was kind of walking around the desk to go out the door, the whole thing came up. So, it's kind of interesting, when you come in here and you want to get things started, because I'm real stickler on getting things started at 6 o'clock and launching, the show on time and doing those kinds of things. But sometimes the technology is just beyond your control. As I mentioned yesterday, I was kind of going back and forth with the customer service people, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning saying, you guys, something's wrong with the cloud. But fortunately, I wasn't stuck with just being in the cloud. I've got capability on my own machines here. So I was just, I rerouted, changed cameras. I've got a couple camera shooting and all that. So we can do switches. I don't do it too much doing this broadcast, but other broadcasts, I'll do what's called switches, and, different close-ups and cameos and stuff like that. But it just kind of jumped up, and I was concerned because on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock, Donnie Glover has a show, and I certainly would invite you to watch. He had a couple guests coming in, and I wanted to make sure that things went smoothly for him. That show I'm not in; I just produce. This one I both produce and kind of the talent in the show. So. And by the way, if you're out there, I want to make sure that I send a shout out to my new friend, Colette Hunter. Thank you, Colette, for watching us, and thank you for agreeing to be our friend here and my friend. So thank you very much. Our guest today, a little later in the show, she'll be coming on. Is Miss Shawn Uri, who's kind of a serial entrepreneur herself. And tomorrow, we're going to have Jennifer Breen out of Chicago. Shawn is out of Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia. And she's got a number of businesses, a number of things she's involved in. I'm sure we'll have a good time talking to Shawn. If you have any questions, don't forget that you can kind of click on that link that's on the page, and you'll come in and you can either ask questions directly or you text us a few comments, and I'm happy to kind of recognize those comments and raise them and talk a little bit. But, today was actually a lot better, although I still was running a little late. It's kind of funny that in order to get the show going at 6 o'clock in the morning, you hear me talk a lot about it. I'm basically up at about 3:15 in the morning. It takes me about an hour or so to get ready, especially if I didn't prepare the night before. I got to get up and iron some stuff and all that. So by 4:15, I try to be out the door. And that's when things are going smoothly. Of course, today it was a little different because today is trash day, which meant I had to accommodate dragging the trash cans out, few minutes lost. And then it is snowing here where I am broadcasting from in Baltimore, Maryland. So you got to add a little bit to that. It's not like I can just jump out there and zip down the road. Fortunately, though, the snow was such that my windshield wipers just knocked it off. I didn't have to lose time actually cleaning off my windshields. Thank goodness, because, I get in here and I never know if there's going to be a little technology thing that's going to happen. But this morning there was no technology thing. But the interesting thing is, if you remember from yesterday's broadcast when I was running late, I actually skipped breakfast. I always try to get a little breakfast, kind of to power myself on in the mornings and to make sure that I've got a little energy, a little energy pickup. Got a little food, a little fire in the oven to kind of get going. But yesterday that wasn't the case. So I was running late. I just had to skip breakfast. And there was that whole issue that I was talking about yesterday, that when you're out on the road at 4 a.m, very little is open. The McDonald's, the Burger Kings of the world, they're just not open. The Panera Bread doesn't open till 6. And so at 6 o'clock, I'm in here rocking. So I have started to go to this diner. And diners are open for the most part 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so you can go in there at any time to get your breakfast or get whatever you want to eat. So I've started to go to this particular diner. So this morning, although I was running a little behind, yesterday, to be honest, I was so hungry. By the time I got to eat, wasn't until lunchtime. You know, I talk on the show here from 6 to 9, and then Donnie's show was yesterday, which kicked off at 10. So I was kind of making preparations so that we could kick his show off at 10, and then his show went on for an hour from 10 to 11, and then afterwards the guests were talking a little bit. Donnie and I talked. So before I knew it was lunchtime and I hadn't eaten, so I was hungry, and I'm trying to lose a little weight. So I said, well, what is it can I do that won't hurt myself? I'm dying for a bag of potato chips, but that kind of defeats the purpose. So I'm saying, what is it that I can eat? So there's this soul food restaurant that's not too far from here called Southern Blues. And I decided, I'm just going to go over there and order vegetables. I'm just going to go over there. I love collard greens. And so get some collard greens, potato salad, and some macaroni and cheese. Now, I don't know if that means, I don't know how diet oriented that is, but I felt like if I cut the meat, then it would be fine. So I went over there and they got the fried chicken going. So I said, well, I broke down. I ordered the fried chicken and a couple sides. And that was my lunch yesterday. Well, each day, try to do a little better. So I went out and I said, you know what? I'm going to try to prepare my lunch in advance. I went out last night and got a bunch of salad stuff, some greens and tomatoes and cucumbers. And, I went to the Wegmans. Wegmans is real big here. And I got a bunch of stuff. Of course, last night after all that, and normally my normal day, I don't leave here at 8 p.m. So, I got a long day, and I was just really too tired to prepare it. So, but the chicken, my girlfriend, she did bake the chicken. So I said, this morning, I'm going to grab some of that chicken. I'm going to bring that in with some salad. I'm going to just start preparing my own lunches because I want to drop a little weight. And of course, when you're running late, can't really do that. So maybe tomorrow. So I decided, but I did have enough time to stop by the diner. And so it's interesting. I said, what I'm going to do to save time before I hit the Beltway, because I drive down to hit the Beltway and then come off the Beltway to come to the studio. So before I hit the Beltway, I'm going to put my order in so that I can have it ready. I can just jump in there and come out. It's snowing and all, so I'm taking my time. Going. So that's what I did. I waited till I got to the first red light, and then I put my order in. The interesting thing is that I go to this deli now so often that these people know me. I started to give the woman my order, which I eat pretty much the same thing every day. One day I switched off and got a waffle. It wasn't anything to write home about, so I said, I'm going back to my regular stuff. And so I pretty much order the same thing every day. And when I started to order, the woman completed my order. So, 2 scrambled eggs, so and she completed my order. And I said, you know what? I must be like a regular here at this place. And it's kind of like the old TV show Friends, where, everybody knows your name. Yeah, and they awfully glad you came. You know that song. Yeah, it's not on TV anymore, but it kind of reminded me of that. But I'm kind of a regular at this diner. And when I went through the door, I was like, good morning, everybody. They're like, good morning to me. And the locals who get up early in the morning, they're all good. Good morning. How's the weather out there? And we're talking about the snow. And I said, boy, it's like, they have accepted me as their own, the early morning crew. That I'm now in here, part of the early morning guys who come in here and get their breakfast. And so it was really quite pleasant. So I was able to come in here, eat a little bit, because, I pop a little multivitamin and all. You're not supposed to eat that on empty stomach. So I try to wolf that down before I get started. And so, it was just very interesting. It's kind of the only choice I have of places to go in the morning. I drive by probably 3 McDonald's. But as I said, they're not open. At 4 a.m. when I'm on the road trying to make it happen. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And I thank God for diners. Thank God for those restaurants that just stay open 24 hours a day, whether or not they have customers or not. But usually there's a little crew of customers. And speaking of crews, I'm real happy that I've got a couple of people who are my crew, what I am now calling my social media road dogs. Earl Bravo, who's out there, and Earl told me that normally he'll set his clock at 6 o'clock. Or rather his phone goes off at 6 o'clock. He knows I'm on, and then he'll turn on and watch me. So I know if nobody else is watching me, I know Earl's out there. And then my friend Daisy Henry. Daisy, I know you're out there somewhere, old friends. And Daisy, she's making sure that I do things like keep my cup here kind of as a prop. I'll probably put the name on it at some point, the we, or something that kind of have a little prop. That was Daisy's idea. A little coffee or something to wet my whistle while I'm talking for, this particular period of time. So, it was kind of an interesting start to my day. The good thing, of course, you get in here, no technology issues. Yesterday you should have seen me. I've got the other camera. I got to get the other camera going. I'm all under the table with the wires and everything, making it happen. Boom, boom, boom. We got to be ready by 6. But today, turn on the technology, hook everything up, and I am ready to go. So you never know what's going to face you. The other thing I try to do, is to check the stories, to see what is happening in the news. And I used to wonder, why is it that these morning shows like CNN with Chris Cuomo was one of my favorite, or Morning Joe, or one of the shows, why do they just keep repeating the news? And I now understand, because quite frankly, there's no new news. There's very little new news. I go through the papers and go through, not the physical papers, I check them online and stuff and see what they're saying. And quite frankly, it's not much. It's not much that's worthy of talking about that's happening out there. And that's why I like this format. We're kind of two-way talk. Oh, I got one comment. Let's see here what we have. Let's see over here. Oh, yes. Yes, I got one comment from Mr. Earl. There he is. Yes, I am here. Good morning. Now, Earl says sometimes I misread these things. I don't want to pop out my glasses, or anything. I got contacts. So I'm trying to be more mindful of that, Mr. Earl. But yes, good to have you. Good to have you. I try to check the news stories and all, and see what's happening in the world, and see if there's anything that's worthy to talk about this morning. To be honest with you, I see why they talk about Trump so much, because the guy is a blessing in terms of something to talk about. Because there really isn't that much more to talk about other than what he's providing. The things you kind of beat up on him on, that he might say or do or stuff like that. I've got my little list here. I go through and I write my little list of what's happening, and try to bring it to you and put a different kind of spin on it, than what you're going to hear on CNN. I believe. But this morning, to be honest with you, yesterday, not much news. One of the big things from my perspective, many of you know, ex-investment banker. In fact, that was kind of interesting. We launched a second show yesterday, Chapman Means Business, where I interviewed out of Jackson, Mississippi, Dr. Cindy Ayers Elliott, who went from Wall Street to starting a farm. And she is very much in the farming business. She's formed a strategic partnership with Whole Foods, which was very interesting. Kevin Hart, the comedian, recently filmed one of his episodes, Heart of the City, on her farm, how that came to be. That was all very interesting. And she wears this pink farmer's hat, which has become her brand. And so if you get a chance, kind of watch our conversation, because she's doing very well down there in Jackson, Mississippi, growing all kinds of things, benefiting from the local, eat locally movement, where people want to eat food that's grown closer to them. So she making that move from Wall Street, where she and I used to do bond deals, to owning a farm is significant. Just in general, but even more so as a woman kind of taking control of the reins and making it happen. So I'm real proud of what she's accomplished, and take a look at it if you get an opportunity. Today, let's see who else we have. Yes, that was going to be kind of my lead story. Earl and I are old investment bankers. He's got a comment out here. How about that market hitting 26,000? Wow. Stock market hitting 26,000, the Dow Jones hitting 26,000 points. That's incredible. When you think about the what has happened since the time of let's say President Truman, the stock market's gone up 4 times. It is incredible because the stock market moves on earnings for the most part. That these companies, the earnings of these companies are just continuing to grow and grow and grow. Our economy is continuing to grow and grow and grow. Now, some of the stocks that make up the Dow Jones have changed over the years, but they're just being replaced by companies that are getting increasingly bigger. Now, what do I think about that? Now, you say the market's gone to the 26,000. If you listen to Bill Miller, and I got to really get back to Bill. Bill runs Miller Value Trust. He is an extremely well-known investor, and for years used to call the market. And it's kind of my fault. I need to get back to Bill because Bill may well appear on another show, which we are launching, which is called Investment Masters. We're kind of debating whether to call them Money Masters or Investment Masters. I'm kind of leaning more toward Money Masters. But to get Bill on to talk about investment strategy and other people who are out there, who are old people I used to work with back in the day, and new younger people who are managing money as professional investment managers, managing hundreds of millions, and in certain cases billions of dollars that are out there, to kind of come in and talk about their thoughts as professionals who are actually in the game. But the market hitting 26,000 is incredible. Those of you who have been in the stock market have certainly benefited from it. The question is, where do we go from here? Yesterday, Bitcoin took a pretty big hit, down 40%. From what I read, thank you. My cousin sent it to me, Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa, sending me an article. I got a really entrepreneurial family and friends. That's kind of my thing. So maybe that's the people I attract, but we got a pretty entrepreneurial family. And we were just talking about Bitcoin. First, Bitcoin dropped 10% in an hour and then proceeded to drop 40% in a day. So what does that mean? Oh, wow. Just remember, if Vanessa, you're out there, I have to apologize, because I said I'd call her back. I didn't call her back. So it just hit me that I just didn't call you back when I mentioned your name. So I'll give you a call sometime today. So I'm sorry. But the whole thing is Bitcoin a buying opportunity? And I think it is. And I talked a little bit about it yesterday. When you see market fall offs like that, you got to think that it's going to reach a floor at some point. I wouldn't rush in there with all I had, but a little bit of money that I don't mind risking, I probably would. And I would do, as I said yesterday, something called dollar cost averaging, where if I had $1,200 to invest, I might put $100 in on the same day every month, regardless of what's happening in the market, and kind of average my price. The stock market is on the other end. Do you think the stock market will continue to go up at 26,000? Well, as many of you out there know, for many, many years, probably the majority of my professional life, I was a professional money manager. Now, what does that mean? I manage mutual funds. I manage individual accounts as an SEC registered investment advisor. And so I had to make those decisions and make a living off my decisions out there. So if I was still doing that, and still running mutual funds, still running funds in that way, I would be hanging in there. I can't say that I would be looking to take a profit, because what is pushing the market? Many things. One is stability. The fact that we're not really having any serious wars right now. The flow of cargo, for the most part, is doesn't have to worry about the risk of war. Of course, we got the tough talk with North Korea, but nothing's really happening. There are no ships that are being stopped. The cargo is still flowing. So stability is a big thing. And with stability comes predictability. So if things are stable today, you can kind of look forward a little bit and say, if it stay that way, these are the things that could happen. And then and from a predictable standpoint, things look pretty good. I mean, the world is kind of focused on how they do commerce, and certainly we in the United States are doing a lot of talk about commerce. The tax cuts are really one of the main factors which are driving the market. because as you can tell, if you're a major company like an Apple and you're making billions of dollars of profit and you get a tax cut that basically cuts your tax rate in half, close to it, then you don't have to gross any more money, but your bottom line grows just because you didn't pay taxes. And when that bottom line grows, it pushes your stock price up because stocks go up based on what's called the price earnings ratio. And the earnings part of that ratio, if that goes up, stock price goes up. So, and then that has the effect that carries through the entire market. And then it's still the whole point that if you have more and more money in your pocket, then you're more capable of investing money and going out and buy things. And so that has what's called a multiplier effect. As you know, I'm an old economist. My major in college, economics, political science, minor in accounting. And that has what they call a multiplier effect through the economy. So if I start buying and you've got money because I bought from you, you start buying from the next guy, it has a multiplier effect and it really raises everybody's boats. At least that's the theory. So bottom line, if I was in the market as a professional money manager today, if I was advising people, generally everybody's situation is different, but I would be hanging in there because things are looking good. I don't see the signs to say, even though I made a lot of money, I should take a profit. So I don't see that. So I see buys both ways. I see buys because things look good in the stock market. I see buys in the Bitcoin market because things are falling off. Yeah, heck, I got a 40% discount. The way I look at it, if I had bought Bitcoin last week, well, today it's a 40% discount, from what the market did yesterday. And, people have talked to me about, how do I do that? And how do I go out and buy Bitcoin? Well, you got to get what's called a Bitcoin wallet. And I'll talk a little bit about that going forward. I'll talk to my cousin Vanessa about it as well. She's listening and establish that. But if you don't want to wait for me, just Google it, Bitcoin wallet, just like a wallet in your pocket that you keep money in. There is a computer wallet that you can do and get from various websites. And in that is what you need in order to buy and sell Bitcoins. But the bottom line is, with the fallout yesterday, if you say 40%, oh, the sky is falling, I should bail out 40%. No, buying opportunity, averaging down opportunity, so that when things turn, if you think the long term that Bitcoin is here to stay, and I certainly think Bitcoin is here to stay for a little while, and more players are getting into the game, although people, there's no shortage of naysayers about the ultimate growth of Bitcoin. There are plenty of people who are getting into the Bitcoin market for various things. And when I see some of the big players that are involved, JP Morgan just committed to become involved in Bitcoin, they're trading futures on Bitcoins and so on. Even though there's some bumps along the way, that I think I would have it as an arrow in the quiver, so to speak. One of the weapons I have, one of the parts of my asset allocation, I would have a little Bitcoin in there. But, I'm a believer in, and one of the ways to make money and one of the ways to protect your money is to diversify. So diversification of assets is a big thing, not having too much money in any one thing, because there's all kinds of risks. So, Earl, the point about the stock market going up 26,000 yesterday, the Dow Jones. We who have been in the market, and I've been in the market half my life, and as a professional, one way or the other. When I think about it, actually more than half my life. As a professional money manager and so on and so forth, CPA and all that stuff. So. Based on what I see now, and this is a commercial. I always like to say, sometimes I just like to put out there what my experience is, because I feel like when you're talking to people, you ought to be technically competent. It was real big with me. To make sure that I'm coming from an informed opinion. And there's this thing, is it State Farm, that says we know a lot because we've seen a lot. And I kind of feel that way. I've kind of seen a lot. Certainly not the first time I've seen the market fall. And certainly not the first time I've seen people yell, the sky is falling, sky is falling. Not the first war, not the first rumor of war that I've seen. And so, you look back historically and say, well, what happened? How can I make money? And that was the thing as, old investor that we used to talk about. That's not really the theme of this show. This show is two-way talk. And in Two-Way Talk, you have the ability to click on that link and you and I can talk. Which is what I like. We're kind of the social media two-way talk show. So Nate in the mornings is not just me talking, although I do have a few guests, who pop in from time to time. And so you hear more than me, but I just want to hear from you. Even the people in the diner this morning, I'm saying, watch me. I didn't spend much time because I was late, or I would have turned everybody's Facebook account on their phone and say, here it is right here. Watch me. But I didn't have that kind of time this morning. But the whole purpose of this show is two-way talk and the format that we have. So feel free to click in. I'd be happy to talk to you about whatever. We don't have to talk about the market or business. Chapman Means Business will be back on again tonight, and we'll be profiling another company and talking about entrepreneurs, because Chapman Means Business is about business issues and about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. So we're going to be talking about that. One of the books that tomorrow, I'll just give it a pre-plug, that we'll be talking about is this book, Disciplined Entrepreneurship. Some of you who have checked my resume on LinkedIn and have heard me talk, know that, I spent some time up at MIT being trained in entrepreneurship. And this is a book that is kind of the core book of what you see up there, Disciplined Entrepreneurship, by the great entrepreneurship instructor, Bill Aulet. Bill's a great guy. And we'll be talking more about that probably tomorrow with Jennifer when she comes on there, because Jennifer's an old MIT person as well. We went through the same program. So you'll hear more about that. But this doesn't have to all be about that. I'm certainly more than willing to talk to you about just about anything. One of the things, again, I'm going to take the Trump blessing that he gives us with everything that he does. So we have something to talk about. We don't have to talk about that, there's a cat up a tree or something like that, because there's no real news, But one of the things that happened yesterday is that Trump got his health report, and his doctor said that he's in excellent health. And he has one little goal of losing weight, his weight loss goal. Well, I'm not surprised at that. I mean, heck, I've got a weight loss goal. No big deal there. At least I don't think it's a big deal. But how much really can you believe that? I mean, the man eats more fried chicken than any African American I know. He's constantly at Kentucky Fried, eating that fried chicken. I don't even do that. And I love fried chicken, but I know I can't eat it all the time without some negative effects. Certainly probably ate too much growing up. I probably got to, kind of offset that. But a man who, and it's kind of funny. Can you imagine some of the pictures of Trump eating fried chicken if you substituted Obama doing it, all the jokes that would be out there about that? Yeah, it'd be terrible. But his doctor said he's in excellent health. And he didn't say for a guy 71 years old. He said he's in excellent health, period. Okay, I got the impression if Trump wanted to, he could run a marathon. But how much can we believe that? I mean, we've had presidents throughout history who have been on death's door, and the doctors come out and say that particular president is in excellent health. So I don't know any more Trump can do. He's got his own doctor, his presidential physician. I don't know how those things get chosen, but the presidential physician says he's in excellent health. Well, isn't that the same thing they said when Ronald Reagan was suffering from early stage dementia and Nancy Reagan was really running the country? Oh, don't worry about him. He's in excellent health. Right. Isn't that the same thing when John F. Kennedy could barely stand up because of the back issues that he had from the war, that he constantly was in constant pain, taking these painkillers? Oh, yeah, he's in excellent health. And probably the most famous example is Franklin Roosevelt, who suffered from polio. And the doctor was constantly, hey, yeah, he's in excellent health. And he's got, full blown polio. He can't stand. He's basically in a wheelchair. But the doctors say he's in excellent health. So, I don't know how much you can really believe that. Although, unless you're going to let me choose the doctor. And even then, I don't know what you can believe. Hey, we've got another comment here from, I know one of my old friends, who is saying here, you probably could lose a pound or two. We have jokes, as they say, in the morning. Yes, I could probably lose a pound or two. And this would not be so bad. I don't really, this is a good friend of mine. I know exactly who this is. This is an old workout buddy of mine. In fact, when I first met him, he was doing pull-ups. Now, a lot of stories, the legend says, well, when he and I first met, but the bottom line is he's in tremendous physical shape. And he's one of these guys who can do pull-ups and hit his chest on the bar. So, you do pull-ups and usually you do pull-ups and you get your chin over the bar. Well, he's one of these guys that when he does a pull-up, he hits his chest on the bar. And I saw him doing that one day, I'm working on. I said, man, I'd love to be able to do that. Now, mind you, when I saw that, I had about at least 70 pounds I needed to lose. And so he looked at me, I'll never forget. He said, okay, big cat. He started calling me big cat. He said, I'll get you right. Hang with me, I'll get you right. And so we started working out together. And the first time I did a pull-up, I came down too fast. I kind of hyperextended my elbow. And I had to take off for a week until my elbow soreness kind of went away. He's doing the pulling. He had this routine. He'd go do some dips and everything, and he'd go do some pull-ups, push-ups rather, and work it out and all. And what I would do is I took the long view. No, I knew I needed to lose weight, so I needed to change my eating habits and all of that. And I would go to the pull-up bar, and I would just struggle to get my chin over the bar, and so on. I was doing it like that. Meanwhile, he's like, boom, boom, boom. And but day by day, my weight started to come down, and then I started to do those pull-ups. I do one. And then I go over to the dip bar. He do a 10, and I do one. Go do some push-ups, and I do one, and then one turned into 3. Just stay with it, and that's the thing that I say to so many people: just stay with it. I got Sean to say, how do I go into the green room? That's my Facebook guest today. Sean, what I want you to do is to go to the We page. And on the We page, you'll see a link that I posted on the top of the post. Click on that link, and then you'll be asked to download the app that we use to kind of communicate and log in through Facebook. So if you try that, I put the link on the top of the We page, not the We page, but the top of the post. So you'll see it there in today's link, and click on that, and that should get you started. Come back to me if you have any issues on that. So we're looking forward to Sharon, you were joining us if we can work that out. So, day by day, and that's the thing with working out. You just got to stay committed to it. It was rough in the beginning when I hyperextended my elbow and all of that. It was rough, but he stayed in. Usually, I told you that I've worked out a time or two in my day. I've done a couple triathlons, as you all know, marathons and so on. So I've worked out a time or two. Usually, the truth be told, is when I get myself committed, done. When I get my mind right that this is what I'm going to do, done. It's going to happen. And usually in the process of doing that, I have something big I'm trying to do. For example, I might commit myself, I'm going to do a marathon. And so when I do that, in the process, anybody who's working out with me, I usually burn out because I'm committed, just like today. If I say I'm going to launch this show at 6 o'clock, launching. And so it's the same thing with working out, kind of same thing. And usually I burn people out. But in this case, this buddy who just put on here, I need to lose a couple of pounds, I didn't burn him out. And he's looking at me like he thinks he usually burns people out with him. So we're doing burpees, we're doing all kinds of stuff. Back in the day, he and I would do calisthenics for about an hour of burpees, and then we'd run 10 miles, and then we'd do the pull-up bar. So, and bottom line, I lost all that weight. I dropped it all. So, when he says I need to drop a couple pounds, there's a little bit of a story attached to that when I put that comment up there, but it's true. And it is also very much one of my objectives, which I'm trying to do, cut back and kind of eat right. Now, I need to have the other side of it too. But I tell you, it's rough. It's rough. I tell you my schedule, up at 3 in the morning and work here to 8 at night. When am I going to work out? I got to sleep sometime, and got a girlfriend, got to have some time in there too, so, and, a little bit more of my grandfather, I got to get a little of that time as well. So the gym suffers, but at the same time, if I expect to be around for all those things, you got to kind of make time with it. But the life of an entrepreneur is not a 9 to 5 life. It's just not. And I'm an entrepreneur by nature. Only 5% of the people in the country self-identify as entrepreneurs. You say, well, what do you do? I'm an entrepreneur. And what does that mean? I start businesses, I grow businesses, I think businesses up, and then I launch them. And then, that's what I do. So that's how I make my living. And so and it's what I love to do. And in fact, what I've learned is what I'm good at. If I had to flip McDonald's hamburgers, nothing wrong with it, but it just wouldn't be what I'm good at. But if you ask me how to start a McDonald's and how to get one off the ground and put together the financing and do the accounting and so on, that kind of stuff, I'm kind of good at. So I kind of focus on that. But the good thing is, as an idea person, I have so many ideas of different businesses. And what I really love about the internet is that you can be so creative. So, and I should mention that too. If those of you out there would like an internet show, you hear me talk about Donnie Glover's show, and there's another show that's going to launch tomorrow, CCN, which is the Culturally Conscious Network that Derek Burnett's going to do for a half hour, and he's got that thing. If you'd like to launch a show, let me know. Ultimately, our goal is to go 24/7. We want to be 24/7 in content and all types of content. It doesn't matter as long as you're not doing any crazy terrorist stuff, get us in trouble, or you're not doing any pornography, because we're not really doing that. I know there's money in it, but that's not kind of how we're trying to go. But if you're not doing anything like that, then I would love to help you get your own show. So, and if you want to reach me, let me give you my email address. It's Nate, NATE, at thewe.world, not .com, .world. Again, you see the map behind me, that's what we're going for. We're going for the world. But truth be told, the we.com wasn't available. It was taken by some guys over in Asia, I think China, Japan, forget which, and they're doing something totally unrelated. And I think even if you put the website in, it may come up in another language. So I had to choose something else. So we thought about what we wanted to do, and so we chose the .world, although it's not as common, and maybe you just think, we should go to .com. And we're still developing the website. We still got some things that we're putting up there. I'm doing it myself, so again, takes time because I don't really, during the day, it's one of my many things on my to-do list, to work on the website and get it up and rolling. We'll also be running some contests in the future. We got some things. We're going to be doing some giveaways and projects and so on. But we would love to help you get started and doing your own show and putting it together. One of the things that I do is that we do the whole split screen technology, and we can send it out, and we'll be sending out in the future to multiple social net platforms. So right now we're Facebook, but we'll be YouTube Live, Instagram, Periscope. Sending it out multiple pages. On this side I'm sending it out to the we. On this side I'm sending it out to other pages, and so. We'd be happy to help you get started in doing that, and some of the other things. One of the big issues, that people don't talk about when you do this live streaming is the kind of storage of your product. This show, other shows we do, you got to store them somewhere. You don't want to have them all just on Facebook or all just on YouTube in case something happens and they cut you off. You'll be done. So you want to at least have so you can launch on your website or something like that, and you got to store. So we help you out just talking about those issues, and maybe I'll talk a little bit more about what it takes to live stream. What it takes to do custom graphics and stuff like that. You might have noticed, I meant to touch on that, but at the beginning of the show, I have a little graphic that says Mornings with Nate, and beside it, I have a picture. And the picture this morning was different than the picture yesterday. The picture yesterday was a picture. I'm kind of an amateur photographer. And now that we got these cell phone cameras that are so great, yeah, I'm taking pictures all over the place. Yeah, I just love taking pictures. And so yesterday's picture was a picture of downtown Baltimore. I like these early morning shots. Well, today was a picture of the street that I grew up on Evanston and Allendale. And I'll be putting up another picture and take some other pictures. But what I'd like for you to do is maybe you could send me some pictures that you'd like me to put up. And we're broadcasting the show, and we got people coming in from all over the country. As I mentioned, we've got Sean Uri, if things work out this morning, that she's coming in from Chesapeake, Virginia. And tomorrow, Jennifer Breen will be coming in from Chicago. And if you are in another part of the country and you'd like to come on to the show, we'd love to have you. And especially because this is two-way talk. This is not just me talk. Although, there's some days, depending on you guys and women who are out there, no comments and no people coming on, I basically got to talk for 3 hours straight, which, I guess I've proven I can do. But it is not my preference. I'd much rather hear what's happening with you because, again, I check all of, we're the news. I check all the stories, and just simply, unless there's something big that's happening in a lot of different big things, it's not really that much, to be honest with you. As a person now who checks the news, I used to just simply check the news for what's happening in the investment market. But and then kind of the world thing was secondary because we also, you try to make money from what's happening in the world. If there is something great or a catastrophe, there's a way of making money in the stock market from it. So, I do it from that perspective. But now I do it from the perspective because I want to bring you something that perhaps you didn't know and that we could talk about. And it's kind of interesting. But when there's not that much that's out there, the big news, as I kind of touched on, was Trump's physician giving him the official okay. Yeah. But, beyond that, there's stories like my cat was up a tree, or I think there was something, a picture that Michael Douglas had of 3 generations. That's not really all that worthy to come here and talk about. It's interesting. And then the whole thing of what happens is you look at these news shows and it's like people talking to each other like they're the news, like I become the news. And what I mean by that is that you got 5 guys talking back and forth and they become the show, so to speak. So, we'd like to do it a different way. This is a grand experiment, of what we're going to do. I'm going to be here. I'm one of these guys. I'm very old school in this sense that I try not to be late. I hate being late, in fact. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day who said he's always late. Well, that's not me. I'm one of these guys, 15 minutes early or I'm late. So if I'm not 15 minutes early, I'm late. So I'm always usually early. That's kind of something I got from my mom. My mom was far worse. When I was younger, my mom wanted to be an hour early. So we're trying to get out the house. Oh, we got to go. I'm like, Mom, we got all this time. You got to get there. And we get there an hour early. And she's satisfied. And I've kind of, I guess, picked up that trait. I'm not as bad as that. I don't try to, get, an hour early to an appointment, but I'm basically 15 minutes early. And if I'm not, then you can safely assume something happened that kept me from doing that. And then secondly, that I'm more angry about the fact that I'm late than you are, because I hate being late. So, that whole thing of being old school in that way, I don't think it's too bad a value. You like to be on time. You like to be early for whatever you do. So it kind of is a function of here it's a necessity. As I said, some days you come in here and technology is really smooth, and you never know. The day is young. I know that Sean's still trying to connect. Maybe that's an issue, that she's having some issues connecting in this morning. If anyone else is out there wants to experiment and ask me anything, we can shoot a fat, try to connect. At least I know the link's working. As Sean tries to work their way, but just kind of getting back to that point of the pictures. Since this show is touching people all over the country, my Florida friends, and that was the point that I was making earlier with that fact that Sean's coming in from Chesapeake, Virginia, and tomorrow Jennifer will be coming in from Chicago. Maybe you guys have some pictures you'd like to send me. Email me the pictures, Nate@thewe.world. And I like to put them up. Instead of my little Baltimore pictures I'm putting up to show you different parts of Baltimore, I like to put up some pictures of you guys from different parts of the country. And put them up as part of the graphic. Certainly, I'll give you credit. So if you've taken something with your cell phone camera, a picture of your part of the world, my friend Hernando is constantly sending and posting pictures. If you're out there, of what it's like down there in Tampa, Florida, the beach. And he's walking on the beach in the short pants. Everything's nice. And we're up here in Baltimore, freezing. I'm driving through a snowstorm to get here. Yeah, but I like those pictures. So in addition to what I'm posting and loving to post pictures, send me a picture of your area, kind of a picture of your city, a picture of your town. Don't send me any pornography. And I'm not going to post that. I mean, look at it, but but I'm not going to post it. But it'll be interesting to kind of get some pictures from different parts of the country. So I'm hopeful that you'll do that. This time that we're in is such a great time with what's happening with the internet. I mean, there are a lot of great things, health advances, and we could talk about that. And we talk generally about that. I'm a veteran, and I think things are improving for veterans in this country, and we certainly can talk about that. In fact, I was thinking about doing something that was kind of focused on veterans, and you guys can tell me if you'd be interested in hearing more about that and kind of a veteran-focused kind of thing. But as we invite our network out to the world, that if you're looking to have your own live stream show and you don't want to put up with the technology headaches, you'd like to have your own dedicated producer to make it happen for you, we can do that. And so on the veteran side, we may well do that as well. But the internet allows you to be so creative. And I'm constantly looking at what other people are doing. I've got many, many friends who are entrepreneurial, and many of them are doing their own live stream type of thing. You pick up things. We do custom graphics here. That Nate in the morning, that's a custom graphic. That wasn't something that came with the package, came with the software package. Granville Templeton out there, if you're listening, Granville did it and said, "Hey Nate, I'm going to share this with you. You can kind of do it as you will." And I said, "Boy, this is great, Granville. I'm going to use this." And that is where Mornings with Nate came from, graphic. But my point is, it's a custom graphic. And if you don't, it has to be made a certain way and all that. So if you don't feel like being bothered with that, and if you don't have a technology background in where you want to deal with light and sound, and to a certain extent, we do some video editing. We certainly do it in other ways. This show I don't edit. Sometimes there are mistakes, and I like to show them to you. I remember we were doing Donnie's show the other day, and I thought I had stopped broadcasting, and we were just talking, shooting the breeze, but we're still broadcasting. And Earl sent me a text message that you guys are still broadcasting, and I looked up, and the thing that I thought I had clicked, it didn't click. I thought I clicked on it to stop the broadcast, but in fact, it was still there, which meant that we were still broadcasting. It was kind of funny. But at the end of the day, I know that there are people who are seeing the show. My friends list from people from all over the country, all over the world. Down there in South America, as well as Russia, people that are on my friends list, just click on that and we will be happy to chew the fat. I do have a friend who'll be coming on from Africa. She runs a sports facility over in Africa, which is really quite interesting. She used to be an attorney, and she worked in Japan for many years. I think she speaks fluent Japanese, and she went over to Africa and she formed a fitness center. And which is doing quite well over there. I think they're going to be doing some expansion over in Africa. And when I think about fitness, I don't necessarily say, Africa is the hotbed of it, but she's made a market and got a business going. And from what I've seen in the pictures, doing very well. So she'll be on to talk about that, going forward. So wherever you might be, and Jennifer, as I mentioned, she's part of my MIT cohort, as we what's it? Cohort. I would mispronounce that word. My MIT group and cohort. I'll get it. So, and she'll be on. And she's coming out of Chicago, so it's something that I want to make sure that we just don't focus on talking about local issues. A lot of my friends, might want to talk about what's happening, locally. Unfortunately, being in Baltimore, right next to DC, we're kind of focused on the DC stuff. We get a lot of that here, so a lot of the little stuff, we get to see and we talk about in the local news, but so much of it is, quite frankly, not worth talking about. So much of it is just, it might as well be us. You might as well tell me what happened in your day and what happened in your life. So that's what I'm hoping. The format is two-way talk. And as you've heard me say a number of times, I love people. And I'm constantly striking up random conversations with people. And this is really an outgrowth of that. So instead of start getting conversations going with people in the diner, I get conversations with you, and that's my hope. You'll click on that link and download the app and come on through Facebook. And then we can kind of talk a little bit about what's happening out in your part of the world and some of the issues that you might have. So if you could just go to the page, because some of you are seeing me through my personal page, and even there, I think I posted it, the link. But unfortunately, you know how a personal page works. You post something on your personal page and it stays at the top until somebody else posts something, and then it knocks it down. And because I have so many friends, I'm constantly getting posts and who share on my timeline, on my Facebook page. So if I put something there, it's there, but it gets knocked to the bottom. And then at the end of the day, I got to find it because I want to delete it because I don't want you to think it's today's link when it was yesterday's link. But on the business page, which is the We, I also have a little page I started up that's a business page. It's a Nathan Chapman fan page, but other than pictures, I haven't done very much with it. But what you do have the ability to do on a business page is to pin something to the top of your post. And so that's what I've done with the We. So if you come to the We, our username is the We123. The We itself wasn't available, so I added 123 to it. I thought that was easy to remember, the We123. So if you come to that and you click on that link that I posted this morning, that you will immediately appear in my guest room, and then we can talk for a little while about what you're doing in your business, and I'm happy to do that. So we've got a couple of comments that we've got a few comments and a few reactions. Thank you all for doing that. But I'm looking actually. You see me appear. I kind of look to my right a little bit so I can make sure on the computer that I see if there are any comments posted or anything I need to react to. So I'm actually going to bring my computer around this way a little bit. So at least this computer has some other stuff over this side. Yeah, it's kind of broadcasting. It's a little bit of a distraction. So I try not to look over there so often once it starts to roll. Because, there's actually a 10-second delay between when I say something and when it appears on the screen. So you can kind of get twisted if you've got to put too much time and looking at the screen on the left. You're saying something and you stop, and then that person's still talking. So you don't want to, get caught up in the delay, rhythm. So basically, I look to the right side to see what's happening, if we have any comments, or if anyone's joined us in the guest room, in the green room. But barring that, I'm happy to talk about various issues and things. As I said, there's really, not a whole lot, to talk about per se. One of the things that, I'd want to do is, just recognize some of the people that are my friends that are out there. I'm constantly getting new friends, constantly getting people, and I'm really pleased about that. And I can see here, you see, I picked up my phone because I always follow things one way or the other. I'm following what's out there. So people who react to the video, thank you very much. I see various folks, a couple folks that I went to MIT with, they kind of recognized my stuff. But really what I like you guys to do, if you got some time, just come on out. We chew the fat like we used to. And there are probably plenty of people who are interested in some of the things that you're doing, because most everyone that I know, especially people I met through the program, it was an entrepreneurship program. So most of the folks are entrepreneurs. And there are, talking about business and things, and are doing exciting things, trying to make it happen. So my hope is that, that you will, just click on. Some of it is arranged, as I mentioned, or, reach out to various folks, get them to come on the show and, talk about what they're doing. Because I know they're doing interesting things that you would like to hear about. But again, this is two-way talk, so if you have something to say, then just click on that link that's on the We123. For those of you who came in via some of my pages I control, that if you just go to the We123, go into Facebook, put that in there, you'll see what I posted at the top of the page. Top of the post is not top of the page, but you got a list of posts, and I pinned it to the top. And you can click on that link, download the app. You can do it on your cell phone. Download the app and come in through your Facebook, and then I will see you here, and then others will see you as we kind of bring you into the broadcast, so to speak. And that's really the format, because two-way talk is an old format. We used to do it in radio all the time. You've heard me say a number of times, if you follow this, that I used to do two-way talk radio, and I enjoyed it, because you never know who would call, and you never knew the questions that would be asked. So, but it's an opportunity to really interact with the people who are listening, that you guys, you're certainly comfortable to sit back if you want and just hear me talk and hear the people talk and so on. And we hopefully will say something that's worthwhile. But if you hear something that moves you, or you just want to get something, said, just click on that link. You'll appear and I'll bring you on. Now, you know the rules. You've heard me say it many, many times. If you're in the green room and I can see your picture and you're down there giving me the finger, chances are you will not be clicked onto the broadcast. Chances are I'll drop you, and because I don't want to sit here and watch you give me the finger. Or if you're doing some crazy terrorist stuff, certainly I'm going to drop you ASAP. Or if you got some pornography going on, I may not drop you as quick, but I won't bring you in a broadcast. So that is the rules of it. Other than that, if you want to talk about the weather, you want to talk about sports, you want to talk about romance, you want to talk about whatever is your subject, we're happy to talk to you about it, bring you in whole of the two-way talk format in the morning. It's not just me kind of trolling the news and trying to find out what's happening, and because I see it now. I feel for some of those folks who do that morning news, and because there's simply not that much of it. Now, maybe if we covered more of the true world, there's something happening in some small country in South America that might be interesting, but not covering it, not hitting the major news stage. But those things that are hitting the major news stage, whether it's something about Kim Kardashian or something, I talk about that a little bit, depending on what it is, but that's not, you kind of jumping to the top of the list of doing it. But, when I look at the people who have kind of recognized things, I've got, I got Barry Elsa, who reacted to the video. If you see her, I've got Jeff Adams, who is giving notice out there in one of the groups I belong to that he's going to be doing a weekly show. I've got Valerie Walker, who just accepted on my friend's timeline. So Val, if you're open, feel free. We're fresh friends. Come on to the show. And then I've got Kayla Leggett, who's now a fresh friend. And she's, same thing, Kayla. If you're up and you're watching, come on the show. And we happy to have you. I see my friend Andrew from MIT. He is kind of the coordinator, the quarterback. He's kind of the guy that keeps us all together. Yeah, and so he runs all the classes, and he shared it. Shared out the show. Andrew, if you got a chance, just click on in, come on in. Love to have you on board. But I just want to give recognition to some of the people who have taken some time and friended us and talk a little bit about you. I got Alyssa Cash. She accepted on the timeline. I've got Christina Conley. Christina Conley is a realtor. And, realtors are perfect for what we're doing right now and talking about the real estate business, talking about some of the things that you do to sell houses. Love to have you on board. Pam Wilson, Rena Greenberg, Lillian Norris. Want to send out shouts to all of you and thank you for friending me and coming on to the site and listening to us. So I know what happens in the morning is that a little message goes out to everybody that, we're doing our thing, and you can elect to either listen to it or not listen to it. But thank you all for at least friending. And then that gives you the possibility that you might listen to it and you can, get the message. Hey, Nate's live right now. I don't think I want to listen. I don't think so. Or you might hear, Nate's live right now. Boy, let me press that button and see what he's talking about. Even more, if Nate's live right now, I want you to press that button. Come on, let's talk. Let's hit it. Let's talk about some issues and so on, because there's just simply not too much. The other day, just more fighting in the NBA. I saw that. We talked a little bit about the big fight yesterday. But it seems like more and more guys seem to be losing their temper in the NBA. There's a big fight yesterday where one guy got the other guy into a headlock. I won't go too much into it, but all those guys are going to get suspended. And lose money behind it. So I just can't imagine what's being said. Growing up in the city as I did, we talk trash. And we knew the limitations of it. You're not going to talk about somebody's mother, because then it goes over from basketball to something personal. And it's like, okay, talk about my mom. Let's stop the play. This is like that. Stop the game. Then you've crossed over into fighting words. But most guys know that. So as much trash as you're going to talk, it's a one-on-one kind of thing. You're not going to talk about something that goes beyond that, because it then steps into fighting words. But having said that, some of the things that I see in the NBA, I don't know. The one guy a couple of years ago blew in LeBron James's ear to kind of distract him. That crosses over into freaky. How do you even respond to that? Guy, normally, I can tell you how we would do it. A guy does something like that at the earliest possible opportunity, I'm going to give him a bow. Every time. For every time you kind of blow in my ear, I'm going to give you an elbow as soon as I possibly can without getting caught by the ref. But, I don't know how that works. I'm going to disincentivize you from blowing in my ear. But when you're a big pro like LeBron and all, and you're just kind of shocked, it's kind of freakiness this, and we just on national TV and you're sitting there blowing in my ear. That's kind of freaky, what kind of stuff you think this is basketball? I don't know what you think is going on here, but we're playing basketball. But whatever is going on, to the point where these NBA players, the other day is, I talked a lot about, the fact that Chris Paul and James Harden, when they were playing the Clippers, thought that they could leave out a Houston Rockets locker room, and go over to the Clippers locker room and kind of bust in there like they wanted to do some fighting. Man, that's way over the top. That is way over the top. As I said, even in high school where emotions run high, I've never heard of, and perhaps you guys, maybe I thought I grew up in a fairly tough area. We played ball and it was serious to us. But the thought that I'm going to get my team together with some of my players and go over to the opposing team's locker room and bust in there? No, I've never heard of that. As I said, for many reasons, because People got weapons. You think you're just going to bust in there and what? Everybody's going to fall down and take a beat down? That's not what's going to happen. You can bust in there if you want, but you don't know what might be facing you when you come through the door. You heard me say yesterday, Gilbert Arenas, who played for the Washington Wizards, he got charged with having guns in his locker room. He said he was just there to show the guns to another player, but he had loaded guns in his locker room. Now, can you imagine if another team was having no issue with him and they're going to bust in there like they're going to give him a beatdown? And he's sitting there with a locker room with 2 guns? I don't understand these players. And they know, so many of these guys are from the streets that you can question why in the world would Gilbert Arenas have loaded guns in an NBA locker room? Well, he did, though. And he got fined. I think there's some issues, some as we say, ramifications and repercussions from it. But they were there. Now, nothing really happened. I'm trying to think that he have a little argument and kind of bring out a gun and threaten somebody or something like that. I don't really remember the story, but I know he had those guns. I remember that. And thinking that what if, because you don't know who might have what in the Clippers locker room. And if you had made it in there with your bodyguards and your entourage, I just can't imagine that somebody was just going to take a beat down. So the other day, when those 2 players, that was kind of fairly common that 2 players they get into a little tussle on the floor. One guy throws a punch, and he ends up in a headlock with the other guy. Kind of got him in the headlock, putting it on him, and that's fairly common, and that's fairly common regardless of what level of basketball or sports that you're involved in, a one-on-one kind of thing. But it's rare that one team will bust into another team's locker room. It's more likely to happen on the field, where you probably have all seen it. Or 2 teams, the tensions are high, something happens on the field between a couple players, and then players from both teams kind of come on the field, and there's a little bit of a melee, and then finally the refs break it up. Well, even that's common. And you see that in the past, and you probably will see it in the future. But we'll have to see. I really can't wait to see how the league deals with this issue of Chris Paul and James Harden actually physically going over to the other team's locker room and busting in there like they're going to go for bad. I can't wait to see how the league deals with that. If you got some thoughts, again, go to that link on the We 123 is our username. Search for that on Facebook, and then click on that link. You'll be asked to download an app, which is a little app that we use, BeLive app that we use to communicate. And then you'll sign in through Facebook, and then hopefully you'll appear in my green room. I don't see Sean, so maybe Sean, if you're out there, keep trying. Don't give up. Don't give up the ghost. And if you're someone else, if for any reason, tell me, please, if the app is not working, or if not the app, but the link is not working, tell me, please, and I will try to make some adjustments out there. Now, here it is. Sean actually sent me a text. She said, how do I go to the green room? Okay, Sean. If you're still out there trying, and which I hope that you are, what you want to do is to go to Facebook there you are. You got it. I see you, Sean. You just popped into the guest room. Yeah, I see you're in your car. You got your phone. That's what I see. That's what I am talking about. You don't have to leave the broadcast when you leave the house. Just go in the car, keep your cell phone going, and you are a part of what we have happening. So, Sean, I'm going to bring you into the broadcast. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
Come on, say something so I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Now, Sean, besides being my cousin, is a serial entrepreneur. As I mentioned, we have an entrepreneurial family. And we have people, in fact, Sean's brother, before she gets into what she's doing, Sean's brother, Jay, promotes concerts over in Korea. and he sent me a bunch of stuff, and maybe I can get Jay to come on the show. But Sean is a serial entrepreneur. She does a number of different things. And Sean, tell us about a few of your business. Why don't you start off with the fitness business, the cycling business? I know you've posted a lot on YouTube.
Well, I happen to be a fitness instructor, but with the fitness, what I focus on is my life coaching business, which helps people to understand that no changes take place until you work on mind, body, and spirit. So if you're not, some people want to, lose weight or want to get their finances right, but if you're not focusing on a different mindset shift, none of that's going to be possible. That business is its own art.
Well, and you've got quite the following. You've got a few thousand followers who are following your advice and looking for what you have to say on Facebook. So, congratulations on that. You know, when I see you doing the cycling, what role does that play in what you're doing?
Well, for one, the spinning and getting my body where I wanted to be was always a bucket list. And one of the things that I focus on in Be Your Own Art is to live your life limitlessly. But most people can't live their life limitlessly because of mindset, because of the perceptions of other people, because they feel like they're too old. I mean, I just competed last year. Being in a figure model competition was a bucket list for me. So I did the work, I did the mindset shift work, I did the action work that goes along with what I needed to do in order to accomplish that bucket list. Regardless of I was 46, and I competed strong, and I actually won second and fourth. And I'm coming back again this year.
Well, so when I saw you doing that, I thought it was kind of a bodybuilder competition that you do, but it's called figure modeling.
Figure modeling. The bodybuilding is the physique. That's where, the women, they have more of a mannish look, but the figure model is more of a feminine look, but with the definition, the cut, and we had to do a routine as well.
So the figure modeling part of it is the bodybuilding, where you really get yourself together, and that you flex your muscles and you show that part of it.
Well, I didn't flex my muscles. Your muscles are just there. Your lines are just there. Uh-huh. So I didn't have to flex anything with the physique. They do more of the, the posing as far as the, showing the muscles. Although we do some poses with figure model, it's less of the, it's less of the it's more feminine. Mm-hmm.
Now, I just getting back to the cycling a little bit, you've got quite a little following of women who are doing the cycling routines with you. Now, are those custom routines that you do that you make up yourself, or are you following one of those video programs that kind of really work you out? How do you determine that?
Well, I do what's called soul spin, and I just move to the music, and it's a spinning ride the whole time. And some people say, "Oh, my bottom's gonna hurt," but no, your quads and your core is gonna hurt because it's a full body workout. And I don't make up routines. I just when the music comes on, I come on.
I got you. Now, how important is the cycling part of it to staying in shape?
The cycling is important as far as my cardio is concerned, but as you can see here, the majority of it is food. I think I talked about it before, but my eating is clean, and I eat 5 to 6 times a day. But I still have to do a lot of lifting because the spin, although I love spin, I like lifting weights more than I do cardio. Mm-hmm. So I cardio in with the spin.
Mm-hmm. Now, you say eat clean. Does that mean you try to avoid pesticides and antibiotics, or do you not eat certain meats? What does that eat clean mean?
Well, first of all, eating whole foods, no canned vegetables. I eat some fish sometimes, but for the most part, I eat tofu. And when I work I also work with clients with their eating to help.
I've never known you to be eating.
I measure my food. I measure my food. Yeah, I measure all my food. Everything is portion control, and everything is high in the protein category. Extremely low to no sugar and salt. and very high in your vegetables, and then your carbs are really, really managed. And I do simple carbs like sweet potatoes, zucchini, couscous, quinoa. So I do, and brown rice occasionally.
Now, just a quick segue in the spirit of letting people know what the weather is. Here in Maryland, it is snowing. In Baltimore, when I came in here, it's snowing. Is it snowing in Chesapeake?
Not yet, but they closed all the schools down here in the 757 because we're expecting snow somewhere around 10 o'clock today.
So your schools are closed down.
Yes.
Now, here in Maryland, where it is actually snowing, they put a delay on the schools, but they're not closed.
Now, this is Hampton Roads. Week before last, we had about 12 inches of snow, and we were shut down. The cities were shut down for 6 days.
Wow. Yeah, we're
not equipped. We're not used to this type of weather. So when this happens, the grocery stores are depleted. People go into panic mode, and they shut everything down. Even the courts and the city buildings were shut down for about 4 days when we had that big snow.
Now, I know that you post these positive affirmations online periodically. Is that part of the mind part of what you do?
That's an everyday thing. Most people that are that don't do the things that they really want to do in life, it's because of their mindset. So they've got what I call stinking thinking, or just negative thinking. And for the most part, we are our own worst enemies. And we set up all these roadblocks and what we can't do in our own minds. So what I work on is a shifting of your mindset. So one of the exercises that I do with my clients is when you have a negative thought, you write that negative thought down and you immediately cross it out with a positive thought. And if you think from a negative perspective, negative, you're going to get that same result in your life.
Now, I saw you do a video also where you were kind of sitting on the floor, and I think you had a couple candles going. Is that a part of a meditation thing that you say to folks?
Yeah, that's one of the modalities that I work with people on is meditation. Because when I say mind, body, and spirit, if you're not focusing on all of those modalities in your life, something's going to be missing. And for the most part, people can't hear what it is that they're supposed to do from God, from the universe. They don't know what direction to go in. People walk around saying, hey, I'm stressed. My life is in chaos. I don't know what to do. And that's because they don't sit still. They don't sit still and just be. We're so busy just in the day-to-day, and we allow life to live us instead of us just taking moments out to just be calm, be still, and just listen to see what God has for you.
Now, tell me again, it's not life coaching. What is the...
It's called holistic life design coaching. And when I say holistic, it's because, they have people that are fitness life coaches, which I'm not that. You have people that are financial life coaches. I am a holistic life design coach, which I open up the doors for you to be able to accomplish all those things, because you have to first change your mindset. You have to then you also want to work on your spiritual side, with your vision board, with your action plans, with changing one of my big things is changing your I am. Pastor Joel Osteen often talks about whatever follows your I am is coming to get you. So when people walk around, I'm tired, I'm lazy, I'm fat, I'm broke, they get that. They get exactly that. But when you start to shift your I am and shift your mindset, you're able to take yourself to places that you didn't even think you could go.
Now, this is a business for you. How do people engage you?
Dropped here.
How does that happen?
Can you hear me? Because I'm in a dead spot.
Yeah, you lost you for a second, but you're back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I can certainly see you. So you haven't gone. So I guess that's one of the downsides of cars. You do get those dead spots. So I can still. Oh, I see someone eating. So maybe is that? Well, that's you, Sean. No, I thought that it shifted on me there. So, oops, looks like you may have gone. Oh, back to it. You're back. Okay. So, Sean, are you still here? Well, we're waiting for Sean to. Oh, okay. There, the picture's perfect. At least on mine. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So, if Sean, can you still hear me? Okay. Well, we still have you, Sean. I see you taking a couple bites. Can you still hear me? All right. Maybe she's going to come back. Look like we lost Sean there, because I was just getting ready to get to the meat of it. Yeah, which is she's coming back on another one, in another part of the guest room. So we'll wait till she gets to it, because I'm always interested in how do you make money. Yeah, what are you doing in your business? How do you make money with that? We'll see. Sean, oops. You'll see. Let's see if you come back here, Sean. Well, one of these broadcasts, we'll see. And see how we can bring you on board. This is real good. Yeah, and Sean giving this technology a workout. So whenever she's available, when she comes back in, we'll get Sean to continue, because at the end of the day, a business must make money. Yeah, that's kind of the definition. The IRS says if you don't make money, 3 years, I think it's 3 out of 5, if I remember serves correctly, they actually consider that a hobby. That if you're not making money, you're not really a business. You have a hobby. So I always like to ask my clients, what are you doing to make money? Oh, I think we got you, Sean, down there. Let me see here. Let me see. Oops. Had you. So let's see how we. Okay, hold on. Hold on, Sean. I think we might be able to get you back. Sean, you back with us?
Yes, I am. I hit a dead spot. My apologies.
Oh, no problem. No problem. It's kind of an experiment in just how we deal with things, because this is live. The format of the show is kind of two-way talk. I like people to come in the way you did, and we just talk. Back in the old days, people used to do radio two-way talk, but we do social media two-way talk. And so that's the format of this particular show. But Sean, as a holistic life coach, how do people engage you? How do you make money from that? I know it's a business for you.
Yes. I utilize all of these technologies. Zoom. We have. I have a few people locally that I work with, but for the most part, it's done through this particular modality. As far as the internet is
Yeah, I think you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if you can still hear me, but it's kind of breaking up.
Then they'll. What did you say?
No, you were breaking up a little bit. Maybe you could. I don't know if the general public heard you, but I know on my end you were kind of breaking up for the last, let's say, 30 seconds. So I couldn't really hear. So maybe you just repeat one more time. Okay.
What I was saying is that I utilize modalities like the Zoom. I have private rooms, like for small groups, where we do live workshops, working with my clients via email, them utilizing my YouTube videos, and then of course email to get the particular homework that they have to work on.
Mm-hmm. So clients engage you. Is it kind of a contract, or is it a subscription where a person pays you a certain amount each month, or is it like a flat fee kind of?
It's done. There are various packages. So whichever package suits the client, that is the contract that they sign under.
Okay, so you got a custom situation with each client. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Where do you hope to go with it?
Globally.
Mm-hmm.
The movement is called Be Your Own Art. And the reason why I came up with Be Your Own Art is because as individuals, most people are living life based on other people's framework, what other people believe, what other people perceive, how other people may accept them. But most people do not have the fearlessness to actually live their own life the way that they want to live it. Because we get stuck in the mode of, well, what do other people think? How will they perceive me in this perception? But when you're able to really just let go of just life's mess, let go of your own mess, and be able to live life limitless, there's no other peace than that.
See, I'm glad you explained that, because when I used to see Be Your Own Art, see, I thought it was a part of the bodybuilding thing, that you're getting your body and muscles, and that was going to be your art. And then I know you have a few tattoos here and there, and I thought maybe that was a part of it, that you were kind of saying to people to get tattoos and or something like that. Now, but that's not the focus.
The thing is, we are all artwork of art, but most people don't push that. But once you start to see yourself as that limitless person, really walking in the beat, but here to be. If you don't of art, you're not going to present yourself or to the world as that.
I see. Well, that's excellent. That's excellent. I know that you're going to be doing some things on the web, on websites. Now, you have a lot of stuff out on YouTube right now.
I have a YouTube channel, Be Your Own Art, which has because the way my format is set up, as far as my free groups are concerned, we have Spirit, Soul, Self Sunday. So all of my content focuses on that. Monday is manifesting and mindset shift Monday. Tuesday, transformation Tuesday. Wednesday is wisdom or why not Wednesday. Thursday, Friday. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. It went in and out a little bit, but I can hear you clearly now. It just stopped. I can't hear you clearly now, but it stopped there for a second. You still with us? Still with us?
Hello?
Yep. I can hear you. I think what I heard, the last thing I heard was Wisdom Wednesday. Oh, look like you're frozen, gotten into a bad spot. But I do like the fact that you can put us on the road, that you can put us, get your cell phone, and just keep it in the car, maybe put it on one of those little holders, and you can keep rolling with the show. Sometimes you'll go in and out of bad spots, but this is kind of the new age technology. Heck, that would happen with radio. Sometimes you go in and out of radio spots. Look like we lost Sean there. Hopefully she'll come back and finish us off. But that can happen with radio as well. So my hope is that, as more and more of you feel comfortable kind of clicking in, that we'll be able to do what Sean and I were just doing. She may well come back to kind of, so we can say goodbye to her. Oh, what do we got here? Let's see here. And let me see. Oh, nope, that's just something else. So, but our format is two-way talk. If you'd like to kind of click in and ask Sean a question, if she comes back, or come on yourself. Oh, what do I see? Looks like oh, no. All right. Let's see what we can see here. Nope, not yet. So if you'd like to click in, just go to that page, the We123 on Facebook. And we have a link there at the top of the post, not the top of the page, but the top of the post that I post every day. I post a different link every day and talk about various guests and so on that we may well have. And that if you like, you can always just send us a comment or two as what we have here. So, but I invite you to join me. This show is not simply about me talking or even, our guests talking. We really, what do we have here? Let's see, boy. We got a lot of different stuff. A lot of good stuff. Looks like Sean's trying to reconnect here, but we have to. I wonder what happens if I deal with that. Okay. A little experimentation. Sean's actually the first person who, from the car, had tried this, and we can see that if you certainly can do it. You can just follow the show, participate in the show while you're driving your car down the road. So, I'm glad Sean chose that way to try to come into the show. So, but we'll look to see if she comes back or somebody new. If you guys are out there and you want to click in and ask Sean a question, she may still be out there listening. Or if you would like to kind of talk about what you're doing, talk about your business, or talk about what you think about various things that are happening, whether it's romance or swimming or whatever it may be. My hope is that you will click into the show, and that we can talk to you about those things. We had a person who kind of was talking to us the other day about wanting to do marathons. I know that on Derek's show that's coming on Thursday, not this week, I don't believe, but he's got a person who's going to be talking about triathletes and swimming and all that kind of stuff. And we were certainly looking for additional content. We want to get more people out there. We'd like to help you get your own Facebook show and just produce it for you. So all you have to do is what Sean was doing, which is just kind of be the talent and talk about it, whatever you like to talk about, and we'll handle the graphics. You could be anywhere in the world, and we could do that for you. As you can see, Sean was calling in from Hampton Roads, Virginia, and if we didn't really do that much graphics with her, but we certainly could have. Maybe when she comes back, I'll give you some show you what we can do as far as producing the show, and kind of get you out there, and you don't have to worry about these technology issues, and you can just do your thing out there in the market, because our goal at the We is to go 24/7. If you're a late night person and you like to launch a late night show, I certainly would love to do that. Hey, I stand corrected. It looks like they're closing the schools here in Maryland. I'm shocked. Sean said they were doing it in Virginia, and they are closing the schools here in Maryland for the kids. I don't have any windows where I'm at right now, so I can't really see what's going on outside. But they are closing the schools out there. So that is where they're interesting, or that is very interesting. Let me not slur my words, because that is it must be getting serious out there. It makes me all the more happy that I am in here. But given that that's the case, I really want people to be careful out there in this weather, and we're going to be posting some things online that would help you to do that, and to just maybe some shoes to wear or some things, and also that whole thing of the flu. Yesterday, it was kind of interesting, from my perspective. We had some great guests on Donnie Glover's show, but one of the guests near the end of an hour show, he started coughing. And he said, "Oh, I'm just trying to fight this cold off." Now, we're in this room, Donnie and I kind of looked at each other laughing. We're in this enclosed, studio, and this guy coughing those germs. And neither one of us are trying to catch a cold, because I'm not trying to not be here because I'm sick as a dog. The show must go on. I might be in here. Oh man, I'm sick as a dog. Call in, but I'm trying not to do that. So it reminded me, just in looking at this guy, he's like, he can barely talk. He's sick as a dog. And so it reminded me that I need to have a little hand sanitizer in here. So I don't know what the snow is like out there, but I said for future guests, I'm going to have some hand sanitizer. So when you come in here, you get a little squirt, and we kind of try to do what we can to keep them germs down. And when you leave and you touch the handle of the door, I'm gonna have a couple of wipes. I'm gonna come right behind you and kind of try to kill off those germs, because it was I'm thinking, wow, I certainly hope that he feels better. He's a great guy. Elected official. He's running for office now. And in fact, we had a guest cancel yesterday because he was sick with a cold, and he sent his campaign manager on Donnie's show. That's launched on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock on the Wii. And so he sent his campaign manager because he was sick as a dog. But the other guy, he came in, the elected official guy who's running for office, he came in, nice guy. But he was also, oh man, when he left, I said, hey man, thanks for coming, thanks for coming because I'm not shaking any hands. I got to get in a roll. And I'm just trying to do what I have to do to stay well, but I know now, and it's kind of just thinking about it, that when you come through the door, and maybe it's just a practical matter, I should always keep a little hand sanitizer there on the corner of the desk to let maybe a little sign, please squirt, or something, please use liberally here, or something like that. So, we can try to keep these colds from hitting us. At least, you can't really stop it if it's on you. But quite frankly, if I knew from the beginning of the broadcast that he was sick, I don't like a lot of ambient noise, people doing stuff, outside the studio and all that. But I sure would have cracked that door yesterday. I would have that door open, let some of that air come in here and blow, the germs out of here. Now, I know a lot of you out there kind of, probably in the same shoes I am. You're not trying to get the flu. I have another guest who I was trying to bring on, meet with. She texts me, I got the stomach flu. Okay. And don't worry about it. I'll keep rolling. I'd like for you to come, on board, but you got the stomach flu. Let me know when you feel better. But if you come in here, it's going to be a little bit of that squirt because we have to do what we have to do. I did a little bit of a show on the flu, and not so much a show on the flu, but during the show, one of my news items were things you can do to avoid the flu. And they certainly talked about washing your hands often and having a little hand sanitizer and people using hand sanitizer for different things. It's not that every day that we're going to shake hands. And I'm a handshake person. I don't mind touching you and giving you a pound, shaking your hand. I'm not like some of those folks that don't like shaking hands. But I don't like it after you, hey man, see you later. No. Hey man, see you later. I don't have to shake your hand if you done coughed in it. You need to squirt a little bit of hand sanitizer in there. And so it started me thinking about, and I wanted to post this online. I'd probably see if I can do it today. What is the best hand sanitizer to get? In my mind, what is the most powerful? Earl's come online. Baltimore City schools 2 hours late, according to the channel. That's incredible. I mean, I'm watching story after story of all these people canceling schools. And here in Baltimore, we're 2 hours late. But that's the way it is. We're kind of hard in Baltimore. We go for it. I did. Alexis, I see you just coming on. He asked me, could I talk a little bit about Bitcoins? I'll show his comment here. I know you don't get up as early as some, but Alexis, I did talk a little bit about Bitcoins early in the broadcast, how the market dropped 10% in a day. I talked about that yesterday, and then 40%, 10% an hour, and 40% in a day yesterday, and how I considered that a buying opportunity. So if you have a few bucks, I would certainly not invest something that was significant to me in Bitcoins, but I do consider this to be a buying opportunity. It's not as though Bitcoins are going to disappear. They dropped 40%, time to buy. We knew, I shouldn't say we knew, but many people suspected that there was going to be some profit taking. When you've got to run, when people have doubled their money, maybe even more than that, some people are going to try to take some profits, which is only normal. I tell people all the time, take your money out of the game as quickly as you can. So if you doubled your money, take what you've invested out and let that profit ride and deal with that instead of keeping your principal in there. We can apply your principal to another area, put it in a place that's safe, but let's let that profit ride. And so there are people who are going to be like me. They're going to at least be selling to the extent that they're going to take what they put in out, so that no matter what happens, maybe I might make more, I might make less, but I certainly won't lose because I've taken what I have out, I put it in something interest bearing, and let's go and just let it sit But I'm not exposing it to letting the market drop to the point where I lose all my profit plus a little of my principal. So that's what I advise, and we talked about that from the Bitcoin perspective. And in terms of getting Bitcoins, if you say, how do I do it? I mentioned I got to call my cousin back, just completely. And I said, apologize, just completely skipped my mind. I got 1,000 things going on. I meant to call you back, but I'm just definitely going to call it a day that we need to get ourselves a Bitcoin wallet. And I have one, and I'll show you how to get one. And they're free. They don't charge, unlike a wallet that you go in the store and buy. A Bitcoin wallet is free. So you have your wallet, and inside of your wallet is where you put your Bitcoins. And in and out of your wallet is what you trade them, how you trade them. So, I would be happy to show you how to get a free wallet and how to acquire some Bitcoins. And again, when you hear these Bitcoins selling at, $12,000, Alexis just came on, said the Bitcoin dropped from 19 to 12,000. You're not really paying $12,000 because Bitcoins are divided into Shoshanas. I always mispronounce that. It begins with an S, which is like the lowest level of Bitcoin. And that is 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin. So if you divide $12,000 by 1,000,000 and you're going to buy one of those Shoshanas, someone can correct me in my pronunciation, that is what you're getting. And so it is not $12,000 that you are, that you're paying. I mean, some people do for a full Bitcoin, but very few people do that. Yeah, so it's not as though you got to say, to participate in the game, I need $12,000. No, you don't. What? Here it is. Mr. Earl, Baltimore City Schools closed. Finally, I guess they got with the program. Baltimore City Schools are closed. I'm glad the kids don't have to be out there. I know that when I was younger, certainly I loved for schools to be closed. So I didn't have to go to school and this, that, and the other. But as you got older, when I was younger, I was growing up in the city. Alexis says here you can buy Bitcoins at a local gas station. Yeah, I'm not sure what gas station that would be, but it doesn't surprise me that there's some people who are trading Bitcoins at gas stations and so on. And that to me is kind of a sign that the market's going to drop when it becomes so common a thing that people, you ask anybody, the guy at the local gas station, what do you think of Bitcoin? That is usually a sign to sell, because when it's at the beginning of the push, then you got the insiders who know. But the more and more people who know, who are out there driving up the price, when it gets to the point that the guy, we used to call that an investment, the odd lot theory. Most people buy 100 shares. And the odd lot theory in investing, when you buy stocks, is when the guy who is buying less than a round lot, which is called an odd lot. Anything less than 100 shares, a round lot, is called an odd lot. So when you got the odd lot people, in the game, it's time to sell. That is usually a trigger that it is time to sell. So the fact that things have evolved in the Bitcoin market, as Alexis has put this message out here, I'll show it to you. He came online and he said, you can buy Bitcoins at a local gas station. That was his message here. I'll highlight that, Alexis. But when you can do that, that's a sell signal. It's time to sell. When I can walk into a local gas station and I say, hey, what do you think of Bitcoins today? And he's got an opinion. Man, usually at the tail end of whatever is happening. The insiders know, and those who the insiders advise know. But then when you walk into what the odd lot, the equivalent of the odd lot guy, and he's got an opinion, he's going to tell you about Bitcoin and this, that, and the other. Man, it's time for me to cash out. That is usually how the game is played, from the investment perspective. So, Alexis, we did touch a little bit on Bitcoin, and it's an exciting time. I do think Bitcoin, for something to drop 40%, drops 40%, and it's still going to be around. It's not like a company that had some kind of catastrophe and all of a sudden they're going to completely go out of business. people have Bitcoins. People are trading Bitcoins. So in my opinion, I would put a little bit of money in it. I wouldn't be saying, 40% down. Let me put it all right here on the table, because 40% can turn into 50%. But, down. So it doesn't mean like it's the last time the thing's going to go down. Because what happens a lot of times is you got to wait. Yeah. And when I would invest money as a little feel, the first news, something comes out, the insiders know and they cash out. Then as the news starts to reverberate out, you got more and more people and they kind of cash out. And that's what causes that 40% drop. But then after those guys are out, of the game, and they push the price beyond where it should go, push the price lower than where it should go, then, and you get that feel, okay, people starting to buy a little before. It's like, even if you can catch it, just that feel, everybody's so frantic. Oh man, I got to sell my Bitcoin. It's terrible. Things dropping. I got to sell my Bitcoin. If you can get the sense of that, because you don't kind of want to wait until people like me, like insiders and kind of deep in the game, as we say, we want to wait till people like me to start buying. You want to have that feel where, oh man, everybody's so frantic. So I'm looking, you have to stay calm. Because I know a lot, because I've seen a lot. I've been through it. So I'm looking, everybody's got a negative opinion. Everybody's so frantic. Everybody's time to buy. Time to buy. What do you think of Bitcoin? Oh man, it's so terrible. Oh, I'm gonna sell my Bitcoin soon. I'm trying to sell. The price going down. I'm selling. How do you feel? Oh, it's terrible. I know. I'm almost out. I'm almost at the bottom. You're almost there? Yeah. Time to buy. It may go down a little bit more, but I know I'm at that bottom. It's going to turn. And when he's out of the game and everybody's out of the game, all those small players are out of the game, then I put my money in. Okay. Put my money in at the bottom. I'm buying a little bit. And if I see it, okay, people are starting to feel a little bit better about it, I may put a little bit more in real quick, try to average it a little bit as it kind of comes back the other way, because all the sellers are out, all the negative, scared money out. Now I can ride that bad boy up the other way. And that's how the game's played. That's how it is. So, but you got to be calm. A lot of people, oh boy. And that's why you don't bet the farm. If you see 40% drop and you don't put your child's education tuition in there, you're going to sell. Oh, I need to sell before it goes down even further. You're not calm. Or if you put money in there that's all dear to you, that your grandma's trust money and all that kind of stuff, she's living off of that, retired now. You're thinking, okay, the Bitcoin went up, grandma's going to live better. And you put that kind of money in there, you're going to be shaky. But you put the money in there that is that investment, volatile risk money, and then you just be calm about it. But I'm telling you how it's done. I'm telling you what I do as a professional money manager. I try to get a sense. I'm watching the market. I'm looking at the volumes, the sell volumes, the buy volumes. And I'm not trying to make this portion of the show about investment, because we do have that show we're going to launch. And I'm really leaning toward Money Masters. The title of the show. And then last night we did the show Chapman Means Business. As I mentioned, we had Cindy Ayers Elliott from Footprint Farms from Jackson, Mississippi on. She did a great show. We're going to have some more entrepreneurs in. Fred Leffler is going to come on and talk about the tax bill. Fred, if you're in there, I look forward to talking to you tonight about the tax bill. So we're going to have some things going. So I'm not trying to make the show all about investments, but this question that Alexis put out there that I kind of said, and to tell you what I did for the majority of my life, and figuring out how do I make money. I have to say it like this, and it's a terrible thing to say, but I love crises, love them in terms of making money. If something happens, and that's the investment banking thing. That's still what I do. So when you talk to me at the end of the day, when you're selling, you're pitching and all that, at the end of the day, I'm hoping you can get to the question that is really in my mind. And that is, how do we make money? How are we making money? Are you making money? Show me. Don't tell me, show me. That's kind of how it is. So that's the whole thing with investments, whether it's stocks or Bitcoin and all. This is great. Bitcoin was off 40% yesterday. Oh man, that's fantastic. I hope people get scared. I hope people, they hear it. Everybody wakes up today, Bitcoin off 40%. Let me get out, man. I used to have so much money and now it's gone down to this, man. I'm going to get out while I'm still here. And that's good. That's good. I like to keep my finger on your pulse. Are you out yet? You got any more? How do you feel about it? And once you're out of the game, once you're out, and I feel like it's you, oh man, I got a few more to sell, and then I'm going to be out. That's my time. That's my time to pounce. Boom. I'm going to start putting my money in. Yeah, I'm going to buy those last few from you. Make it a little further. Then, okay, when you're out of the game, things are going to turn. So, Alexis, that's how it's done. That's how the game is done. And as you know, as the rappers say, as I say, in investments, I'm money management. And I talked a little bit about my background. You guys look me up. I'm deep in the game. So, with real money. Oh. So, I'm a professional money manager, SEC investment advisor, the whole bit, in my past. And so these days, I kind of do it. I don't really talk as much about it. Yeah, I'm as from the old school, as you hear me talk about a lot. You can show me better. You can tell me. If it's so much that, why don't you show me? So, it's a thing, even with this thing of the internet. And I talk a lot to people about helping them to monetize their followings and this, that, and the other. And there are ways of doing it, and we talk about it. But it's hard work. Somebody's got to do it, and I enjoy doing it because I enjoy business. And I enjoy all this technology, and I'm just the creative power of it. I just love it, and so I'm really all into it. And praise God, I've had success of kind of moving this program along and all of that. But you see it all the time. I debate it with my friends. Oh man, I got this big following and so on, and you should pay me so you can access my following. That's a revenue. That's a form of revenue. But if it's so bad, why don't you sell something? If the following's so great, hey, here's this cup. I can produce 100 of them, sell them to your following. Such that if you think I can sell my stuff, well, you show me. So that's kind of the debate that I get into a lot, with this whole issue of how valuable a following is. But I can show you. We are very interested in helping people monetize their followings. We're interested in helping people to kind of get out there and produce their own shows, and not produce their own shows. We'll produce it. All you got to do is do your thing, like Sean was doing this morning. She came on with me, and immediately the notice went out to all of her friends that she was live and what she was talking about. So I noticed one of her friends kind of came on board. So that's how it works. And then she could just do her thing. She could put her pitch out there. We can go back and forth. She didn't really even need me per se. I could have taken myself out and just let her talk. But the bottom line is she didn't have to produce it. Don't have to worry about it. And we will do that for you. So if you're interested and you want your own show and you've got something that you think you want to get out there and you just want to deal with that aspect of it, or you want our help, and I'm probably going to do a little publication on how to monetize your following and things that you can do to monetize your following, and to talk a little bit about that. So, but I'll give you my email address. My email address is nate@thewe.world, not .com, but .world. I just got a little text from Earl. Earl's saying here that it looks like I'm advising people to buy Bitcoin at this time. I'm not advising individuals to do, this is not individual advice. We haven't set out. I'm not licensed. Well, you don't really have to be licensed in Bitcoin. You can be a certified professional, which I got a little course. I probably do that, but I'm not one today. So I'm just telling you how I do it. If it was me, what I will do, I got a little Bitcoin wallet, what I can do. So I don't want to think I'm not your broker. I'm not your Bitcoin broker or anything like that. So Earl's just trying to keep me from going too far, and you ought to go buy Bitcoin. Well, you do what you think is right. I'm just telling you how the game is played and how I would do it. So I hope I've, put that out there. I'm not trying to get in any regulatory trouble. So don't say, we need to buy Bitcoin, so I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm just telling you what I would do. Don't put it on me. I could be wrong. I don't have perfect prescience. I can predict the future or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I would do as a person who's been in the game a long, long time, more than half my life. And, then I'm just saying that to not get you to do it, but just to say, I kind of got a little experience I'm taking on that commercial. I know a lot because I've seen a lot. State Farm, I think it is. Know a lot because I've seen a lot. And so that's why I say what I say, And it's kind of like the Eddie Murphy movie. What was the Eddie Murphy movie where he was a bum on the streets and then he becomes this Wall Street trader, and he was kind of trying to buy low and buying low and all that kind of stuff. But that's really true. You buy low if you can. Sometimes, as in the stock market, things just seem like they're going to keep going for a little while. And you don't have the ability to buy low. Usually, even in that circumstance, even the stock market is going through 26,000, there'll be some pullback. But you can't really wait for that if the train is moving. So, you got to think about that. Even then, you don't Trading Places, or just text me. The movie was Trading Places. That's right, with Eddie Murphy, where he's kind of this person and he's involved in the stock exchange and all that. Well, we lived that, I've lived that, so, I know a lot because I've seen a lot. So I'm not trying to make this all about investments. What do you guys want to talk about? I've got another show, and the more I talk, you got to tell me. I'm thinking about Money Masters, where I invite these guys, my friends who are still in the professional money management business, professional brokers, on the show to talk about what they think is happening in their particular areas. Because just because you're good investing in one area, you may be a good bond investor. And in that, you may only be good at investing in treasury bonds. You may not be good at investing in corporates, And so just because you're, say, hey, I'm an investor and I got stuff, I just happen to have a broader level of experience because I started a lot of things from scratch, and so I know a little bit about how they come from an idea, the idea of, hey, I'd like to start a mutual fund to actually having one. So, okay. I got you, Mr. Earl. He's sending me my little text. As I said, keeping me straight, helping me out, part of my crew. Where's Daisy this morning? Daisy, you're out there? If you're out there, Daisy, just say hello. Part of my crew in the morning, who get up early and kind of help me make this thing happen. But I'm happy to have Alexis out there too. He's out there watching us and seeing stuff. Let's see here. Do I have any interesting texts that I want to share with you guys? Nope. No texts. Let me check the Facebook. Got a couple little things. Kind of keep it live. You guys out there. I want to thank Herbert Wright, who reacted to the video, and I want to thank Sylvia Chapman Lloyd. I also want to thank Jeff Jones, man. It's good to see you. He's got a photo on. He's kind of put a check on Culturally Conscious, the show that's coming up on Thursday. Kenyatta Hardison's out there now. She's live. It says here, Teachers, There Is a God. And she's out there with that in her show. So I want to give her a nice little plug. And that's what I'll do. If you are out there and you do things as you friend me, and it's clear to me you have some type of entrepreneurial effort going on or whatever, I'll give you a plug on what I'm trying to do. So I just appreciate the fact we are friends out there in the Facebook world. And as we do that, and as we kind of figure out what we can do together, I'd be happy to give you a plug on what I'm doing. Because I'm, as you guys know, 6 to 9, Monday through Friday, a couple other shows that we're looking to do that I'm going to be hosting, and a number, many more that I'm producing for other people. Oh, Daisy's out there. Look at that. Here it is. Daisy says she likes the idea. You see that? I have a comment there. She likes the idea of Money Masters. Well, Daisy, Money Masters it is. Money Masters it is. I've got to get on the line with some of my friends to get them, to come on board. I'll probably shoot to do that one around 6 o'clock, because I am doing the other show, maybe even about 6:15, kind of an off time, because I do have Chapman Means Business, where I got these entrepreneurs coming on and talking about their companies and so on. So maybe I'll give it a little time. Usually in the investment business, what happens is that market closes at 4. You got a little paperwork to do. And a lot of these guys, I know, out the door by 4:30. By 4:30, they headed to the door. It's not anything because when you've been in the game for a long time, what can you say? I mean, when you've been doing something, you take, in my case, wow, when I look at it and I think about it, I'm closing in on 40 years, 35 years in the game, from college and so on. Because, my first job, after I was a CPA, I worked at Peat Marwick Mitchell and now Peat Marwick, Maine. And after that, even then, I audited brokerage firms. So, and then from there, straight to Alex Brown. So I've been in the game a long time. And then, forming my own company. So, you kind of, day by day, you know what's happening in the markets, there's a war or some catastrophe, just something good, president says something, how do you react to it, and so on. Who makes money? Because that's the whole thing of what we're looking for. Something happens, who makes money, who loses money. We're going to take advantage. We're going to make some money from it. And that's what happens in the investment business. It may sound kind of crass to some, but it's really what we do. So, here we got Daisy. Says, we got Derek out here. Derek says, I agree with Daisy, especially retirement and investment information. That is very true. I mean, there are a number of insurance companies that we're going to be bringing on, both profiling and a number of investment companies that we're going to bring on, because I'm really concerned about making sure people make money and that they're prepared in the event of a catastrophe. Because you live long enough, something's going to happen. And if it's not you, it may be to someone that you love, and you might want to be prepared to help them out. Maybe they didn't make the right kind of decision, that type of stuff. So, okay, Money Masters it is. And chances are we'll launch that maybe once a week. I'm thinking on Fridays. I may have to, because, and again, I have to catch these guys because Friday, the markets close, they are gone, especially my New York friends. I may even have to launch the show a little earlier, right at 4:15 or something like that. Forget 7. I have the other show that goes at 5. I may have to launch the show at 4:15, especially if I'm doing it at the end of the week, because the guys I know in New York, especially, they live out in Connecticut. They live out in the other parts of outside of outer New York. Market closes. They are on a Friday. Gone or nothing. They're going to the happy hour, to wherever the action is, and that's when we were younger. I don't know with the older guys. We all got a little older. It's not quite the same way, but at least I don't think so. Back in the old days, that whole thing of the 4 o'clock cocktail and cocktail hour and happy hour and all that. Man, on a Friday, at the end of the market week, straight to it. That is, I am gone because there's nothing more to do. The market is closed, so the stock market, New York Stock Exchange, America, and over-the-counter market all closed. And so there's nothing to be done. So it's like gone. So maybe I have to do the show a little earlier if I'm going to catch these guys, at least for a little while, to chew the fat with them, because that's really the practical side as someone like myself. And even when I was up in New York, when the market was closed, straight to the train station, straight to, getting back this way, because for many a year, the train, I would hit it. I'm in Baltimore. So I would run the East Coast corridor. I would take the train from Baltimore to Wilmington, Delaware. I deal with my clients, and I deal with and then from Delaware to Philadelphia, and I deal with some stuff there, and then from Philadelphia to New York. And then catch my folks in New York. It was pretty easy to do. And back in those days, as we were talking the other day, I basically got driving services, so I didn't have to kind of catch the subway or get around. Cars waiting for you. Take me to my appointment. Then I come out, cars waiting for you. Take you to the next. That's how it was done. So you can hit as many people as you want from the investment perspective. If I was doing a deal or needed to talk to people who I want to manage money for, or who did manage money, that was kind of how it was done. But again, what that means, and just kind of talking it through, that I would maybe need to launch that show a little earlier if I'm truly going to catch some guys, who before they bail out, because the bigger you are, the more your time you've been doing it, probably got a little money in your pocket, no need to sit around here, time to enjoy life. So thank you, Daisy. Money Masters it is, and we'll be looking to launch that on a Friday. I'm going to be checking with some friends, see if I can get them on board, and we can talk about what they think the market's doing that week, and then try to get some people and figure out who is, big in the Bitcoin game. I know there's some people at J.P. Morgan, for example, who are big in the Bitcoin game, and others. To see if we can get them to talk about it. They're more directly involved in Bitcoin exchanges and all that kind of stuff, and see what we can do to make that happen. So, but in lieu of that, again, that'll be that show talking about investments. And this show is kind of just two-way talk. We can talk about whatever you want. We're doing our two-way talk format. So if those are you, I don't see any people in the green room waiting to be recognized. Let me just check, make sure there's nobody out there. Nope, nobody in the green room right now. Come on, you have your chance. This is it. Yeah, don't miss the moment. But nope. Yep, Daisy's out there, so everything, the world's okay. Part of my crew, my morning crew, making sure that I'm okay. Yeah, and not sitting here with my sweater all buttoned the wrong way, or so on. Doing my thing here, making it happen, rocking and rolling. So, whatever else you like to talk about. If you want to talk about romance, or you want to talk about things that have happened to you, automobiles, I'm thinking about maybe doing something where I bring some of my automobile people in here. I've got some good friends on the car buying side. From time to time, some of my cousins, particularly women, or would ask me about best way to buy a car, because I like to negotiate. I like to think a pretty good negotiator, but negotiation takes time, and a lot of people aren't patient. Negotiation is a process. It's not that you go in and you go low and they go high and then that's it. Negotiation is something that you got to sit with for a while. If you're going to go buy a car, in my opinion, if you want to work a real deal, there are times to do it. When near the end of the month, when they're trying to book their sales, and if you know that, when the end of the month time comes, or the end of the quarter, even better, where they're trying to book sales, that is one of the best times to go in and buy a new car, because they're more likely to make you a deal. And when you go in, I'm a person that says, let's go in there about 11 o'clock, and I'm prepared to stay, to 3. And you said 11 to 3. What are you guys talking about? By the time we've looked at about 10 cars, and what do you got? This one, you got this one. Well, first of all, you got to go in with information. And I always will check the Automax or the local discount places, and I'll know what they're offering the car for. So I'll say, look, I can go right over here to the Automax place, and I can buy the car right now. This is the price. So we start off with the fact that you're going to match the price, and then we go from there. Match the price, that's simply not good enough. But we don't get it. It's a very pleasant conversation. And then I engage the sales manager. So I'm talking to a salesperson, but then I bring in the sales manager, guy who's really motivated to make the deal, because the car salesman might make a flat amount. So, I'm thinking about doing that, just how to do it, if you're going to get the best possible deal on the car. Because if you go in there and you say, well, I like to buy a car, and the salesman says, here's bing, bang, bang, here's a couple cars, and I'm prepared to offer you X. But since I like you, I'm going to take off a couple $100. And you think that, man, I really got a good deal. Chances are you did not. So, I thought maybe I'd bring some of my automotive people in here, and we could just talk about that, the whole process of what it means to, to kind of make a deal on some stuff. And, if that might be interesting, because I like that, buying cars and kind of negotiating. I negotiate all the time. My girlfriend hates it. I'll go in Macy's and negotiate. So you didn't know you could negotiate in Macy's, did you? Yes, you can. You got the shirt, you bring the shirt up to the counter. Shirt says, it sells for whatever, $50. I'd buy this shirt if it was $5 cheaper. Well, sir, I don't have the ability to do that. Well, you got your manager around. See, people hate that. So some people do. I love it. I love to negotiate. And, people talk about, just pay the price. Just pay the price. You can afford to just pay the price. No, I don't do that. And for all you people out there, and maybe if you've done some world travel, you've been to Asia or South America, you see it's part of a negotiating bidding culture. No, sometimes you just can't negotiate. I mean, it's not like you can go in the gas station and say, "Hey, look, I want $20 for gas, but I'm gonna pay you 15 for it." Now, that's not gonna work. But but most things you can get a discount. And as I get older, I'm certainly asking for whatever age-related discount I can get. I let me. I got a little gray in my beard. I don't know what your impression is, how old I am. So or I'm a veteran. I really believe in discounts. I'm a veteran. I take courses. I'm a student. Whatever the discount might be. I'm trying to get it because I refuse to pay full price when I don't have to. I mean, I don't know how many of you are out there who are like that, but that's how I am. I refuse. And I don't care if I'm a billionaire. Why would I pay full price if I don't have to? So, I join all the clubs. So, whether, I eat at Fridays or Outback or someplace like that. I don't know if different parts of the country, if you have those restaurants, but you basically have restaurants where you join their little restaurant club. They give you a little card. And okay, well, that's an encouragement. I've got a real good friend of mine who might be watching today, and he's real big on that. He'll go into a certain restaurant that he likes, and it has to be a restaurant that he likes, and he'll negotiate a discount. But his discount is based on the fact that he's going to come in and give up the restaurant a lot of business. And he's going to encourage others to do the same. And so the restaurant might give him 30% off. But he may eat there, once or twice every week. So he's coming back. You got a restaurant that you, first of all, like. You like what they're doing. But you say, well, if you like what they're doing, just pay the price. Well, the way in the real world, I should say the real world, in the way of kind of business and money and stuff like that, there are going to be some guys that they got money, but they're not paying full price for whatever. So he comes in and he's happy to bring others. Actually, in this particular restaurant that he took me to the last time, he gets 50% off. 50% for really excellent food. They serve you a lot of it and so on, but he eats there 2 or 3 times a week. And he brings people like me there to let them taste the product. And I come and I don't get any discount. And, or don't pay full price and stuff. So the bottom line is he encourages other people to come in there. So I don't know how many of you out there really do that. But I was thinking about maybe even posting on the site every place that offers discounts, because there are places you have to negotiate. You just have to bring it up. For instance, Noodles and Company. I'm a veteran, military honorably discharged veteran. So there are a lot of places that offer veterans discounts, first responders discounts. But you got to ask. And I'm all for asking. Dunkin' Donuts, not Dunkin' Donuts, they're kind of suspect. I've started going to Krispy Kreme. I don't know where part of the country you're listening to me, but Krispy Kreme provides the donuts and the coffee, and they don't really have all of the extras that a Dunkin' Donuts might have, but what they do have is a 10% discount for veterans. Last night, I might go to wherever. And sometimes if you bring it up, they'll give it to you even if they don't have an established discount. Noodles and Company, I eat there a fair amount. I like the noodles and what is it, the Capitavi? I think that's what, pasta Capitavi, something like that. And 15% off the top. Now, I don't care if I am, or if I one day become a trillionaire. If I can walk in and just ask you, hey, will you give me 15% off the top? And you say yes, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to say just because my wallet's fat, I'm going to pay extra. No, I just can't see it. So I don't know if there are any of you who are like that. And some of you might say, oh, man, that's kind of tasteless. You're asking for those discounts. Well, I'm asking, first of all, for discounts that exist as an encouragement to get people in, to get teachers in, first responders, veterans, seniors. There are a lot of people who get discounts, but you got to ask. And I kind of like that. And if there are any of you out there who kind of do it the way I do or feel opposite, I got a buddy of mine, one of my buddies who texted in today a comment. He feels opposite. He's like, man, I don't like to do that. Whatever the price is, that's the price. I pay it, so on. I say, okay, well, I'll tell you what, let me pay for it because I'm a pocket the change. You go over there, sit down, let me go up there. Give me the money. Right? You don't like it. All right. I'm not going to try to convince you. So we go to Noodles and Company. All right. and you want to pay full price, you're a veteran too. You want to pay full price, and that's fine. Order your food, give me the money, you go sit down. Okay. And you're going to get the food, and I'm going to get 15% in my pocket. How about that? So, he said, I don't know, man. I can't stand here, see you do it. Hey, my girlfriend, we were at one of these tire stores, and she needed some new tires, right? And the guy, you know how the tire stores guys, they just really so sweet and so nice, and they're also knowledgeable and stuff. And they all go in there for one tire, and they convince you why you need 4 tires, and they're just so nice. And at the end of the day, because I guess I know a lot because I've seen a lot, the whole thing. And at the end of the day, he says, okay, he's got the, I've written this thing up, and all you have to do is sign. What do you think we ought to do? And she looks over at me and she's like, what do you think? Look, okay. I think we ought to buy 1 tire. And on that 1 tire, I want to get these various discounts. And she's on the table like kicking me, like, what? You asked me, first of all. And, a guy looks at me, look at you. Well, did I stutter? No, we don't need 4 tires. We need 1. Okay. And on that 1, I want a discount. So, and that's what he did. That's exactly what happened. So, he gave me the discount. We rolled out there, and that's kind of the way it is. But some people think, oh, they treated me so nicely. I don't want to ask for a discount. They treated me so nicely. Well, I'll treat you nicely too. I'll nicely ask you for the discount. Mr. Chapman, oh, you're wonderful, and so on. Mr. Chapman, and oh, it's such a nice tie you have, and share with you some personal stories. Oh, yes, I really gotta. It's kind of financially tight for me, and they make you think, oh, I shouldn't ask this guy for a discount. It's just a game. It's a salesman's game. As a person that's been in sales a long time, it's just a game. And he'll laugh and he'll like, man, I pull the old, I've got to tighten at home stuff, or I need to pay for my, my mother at home who's needs some extra check. Oh, well, I can appreciate that. But can I get that discount? And sometimes we laugh together because I enjoy a good salesman. I'm telling you, I really do. I like to see a guy do his technique. Come on, gosh, I don't know how many of you are kind of like me like that. But as a person, when you're in the investment business, as I was, and again, I'm not trying to make this all about that, but you're just selling the idea of stock ownership. The idea that your money could go up. I think you're a better salesman than a guy who's got a chair. You can sit in and so on. And both for sales, but I think selling an idea is much more so than is much more difficult than selling a physical product. So I enjoy a good salesman. Whatever you're selling, I'll let you do your thing. There are times people call me on the phone at home. And, I just let them get their spiel, let them get some practice in. And so I kind of enjoy it. That may sound weird, but as a person who understands what's going on, I'm trying to figure out, is he selling the facts? It's going boom, boom, boom. Or is he selling the emotion, the feel? Sir, he's selling to my ego or whatever he's trying to do. I kind of like it. And if he's got something good, he's got a little twist of a phrase and stuff, I'll try to remember it, because, that was pretty good. But I want a discount. And no, or I'll just tell you flat, nope, not interested today. Nope, nothing you can do. Nope. So, man, thank you very much. Bye-bye. Boom, I'm hanging up on you. But I'll let you get your spiel off because I enjoy it. But I also, if there's a poor salesman, a young salesman, and you come at me with the, young technique, I'll help you, but unless you're arrogant, it's just, I feel like, hey, look, man, let me jump on the other end of this phone. Let me reverse it on you. If I was you, this is what I would say. I was like, if I was you, then I go into the reverse sales technique, and just kind of show you, by the way, I should mention, I'm working on my book, The Chapman Company Story. And that really talks a lot about, you hear me talk about the whole investment thing, what we did and all that kind of stuff. And people have now convinced me that I should write a book. So I did. On the first part of, my life, I've had a very interesting life. But the first part having to do with investments, coming up in the city and, a whole thing of leading to the Chapman Company. If you go to the Chapman Company Story.com, and put your name in, because I'm putting an email list together. I'm working on it. Got kind of the first draft done. And I'm going to do another draft, then get it to an editor, and then hopefully get it out the door. But if you want to get on the early list, I may even release a couple of excerpts. So go to the Chapman, CHAPMAN, company, spelled out, COMPANY, story, STORY.com. That's where it is. And just put your email list in. That's all it is. Just a place you put your email list, your name and email. And so when the thing is out, I'll make sure I'll send you a notice. And maybe even, I don't know if I'll do it. Yeah, I'll probably do a discount, if you ask me. And and let it roll. I'm just joking with you. Yeah. So, but the website is there. So for those people, let's see here. Let's see what I got over here. It's got to refresh the old page. See who's out there with me. So let's see here. There is, for those of you who are interested in the whole blockchain thing, I do belong to a little group out there. It's called Cryptocurrency and Blockchain Discussions. So if you guys want to get out there and talk about Bitcoin, you can join that organization. It's called Cryptocurrencies, currency, not plural, currency, and blockchain discussion. So that's kind of an interesting place. I think I found out about that from the course that I took on blockchain, on cryptocurrencies, on Bitcoin in particular. So I kind of joined that group so I could stay up to date. So that's out there, and I just got that message that they're people posting into it. So if you want to find out more, be a part of the community of people who are interested in Bitcoin, that's just one group that you can join. I'm sure there are others, but that's kind of a recommended group, at least for me. So I want to get more of you involved in the discussion as much as possible. Again, there is a link on the We123. That's what you do if you the company is called the We, and the We123 is the username. In Facebook, you get a little username that people can use to find you. And if you search, and without any spaces, the We123, then you will come up on the page for the We. And on that page, there I post every day, 5 days a week, during the work week, a link. And if you click on that link, then you will appear in the green room, and we can kind of talk about it the same way we would in that whole two-way talk format. If you don't want to do that, you don't want to be seen or anything like that, I understand, then you just text me a comment, and we'll respond to that. And some of the things that I might say or some of the things you might want me to talk about, I'm happy to do that. I've got, certainly as I've gotten older, I've gotten a lot of stories to tell, about various things I've experienced in my life, because I'm always kind of pushing forward. Some of you may know that in one of the things in my prior life that I was here in Maryland, especially, I was chairman of the board of the University of Maryland system. The University of Maryland Board of Regents, our educational system, the 13 schools, Maryland, we touched on that, all report up to one board, and that board is called the Board of Regents, and I was chairman of the board, youngest chairman ever, first African-American, by the way, and the first from my school. Well, one of the 13 schools under the board is University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC, where I went, which has been on 60 Minutes, one of those kind of small schools in the country, headed up by Dr. Freeman Hrabowski, who has been there now for closing on 20 years, a great friend. And there's so many stories of of how, things kind of evolved in that whole setting, which I'll probably, as it's appropriate here, talk a little bit about, and some of the other things that I've, known, experienced. There are people who I've kind of come through and come to talk about, for instance, this whole thing of whether Oprah ought to run for president. Yeah, I think she should. Personally, why not? I'm all for the more the merrier. And I certainly don't know anything that would discourage me or disqualify her from being president. She's started from the bottom, now she's here, as the song says. And but I remember when she was here in Baltimore, she got her real start here in Baltimore, and then she went on to Chicago had that major show there. And then that's what took her to the Oprah that we know today. But back then, she would come and she'd be doing the news roughly around the same time I would be doing the stock market report. So, some of the stories that, that she used to do here with a guy named Richard Scher, who who still lives out. No, I don't know where he lives now. I know he lived out in Baltimore County, Woodlawn area for many years. He doesn't live there now, so you can't track him. But they talk a little bit about shows I've done, times I've been on that. And basically back then I was talking about the market, and then it evolved to, where I would do what we're doing now. I can talk about the market if you like, but we can talk about whatever you like to talk about. Certainly with a life lived. And that's really the hope, that as, I strike up conversations with people. As I said, even this morning when I went into the diner, now that they know me, now I've been taken in and made one of their own. They've taken me in, and now one of the early guys who come into the diner, hey, how you doing? So on, and she knows what I'm going to order, and she completes my order before I can get it out my mouth. I like Friends in there. As I said, the whole Friends episode where you come in, and, hey, I know what he wants. I'm going to give it to him before he even asks, kind of thing. And yeah, you want that decaf coffee? Yeah, I want that. That's what I'm drinking here. And yeah, that decaf, you throw that on me. And yeah, I'm going to give you a little, carry out tip. A lot of guys don't tip if you carry out. And I still tip, and I don't have to sit there and literally ask you for stuff. I'll tip you. You went back there and got it for me. I'll give you a little tip. So I felt pretty good about that. But my point was just simply engaging folks. I didn't get into that as much. Folks, snowing outside and how bad is it? And, he's talking about how, people, they get so afraid to drive in the snow and all, And I kind of understand that, here in Maryland. And Sean was saying it's coming to Virginia, snow. And truth be told, yes, I've driven in some awful snow conditions and blizzard conditions. The kind of that, more fearful man probably wouldn't have been out in. And, so this little bit of snow that I see now doesn't really bother me. I get out there, I know kind of what to do. Have I gotten stuck in the snow? Yes. Have I ever had an experience where I've kind of spun around? So yes, but hey, what can you say? Just is what it is, And so the whole conversation this morning while I was waiting for my order, even though I called it in, wasn't quite ready when I got there. It's just people who have, who let the snow stop them. And maybe logically, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. Here we got. We got a comment here from us. What does it say? Yeah. It says, any good work from home ideas, any success stories? Well, there are work from home things that you can do. As individually, they don't tend to make a lot of money. But there are places you could go. If you can Google, you can do these surveys. And people will pay you from home, if you want to do that, to complete these surveys. And you can do that from home. There are places, and Mr. Earl, if you're out there, you might remember the name, where you can kind of do website analysis. So you can go to a person's website and check it to make sure it stays up, because certain websites are supposed to stay up 24/7, but occasionally things happen and websites go down. That happened to me. One of my websites, and I didn't even know it. It was a website I don't go to very often that I created, and this is going to be out there. And I didn't know it had gone down until I went to it and saw, well, gee, this thing has gone down. In my hosting service, as I mentioned to you, I have my own servers, and your own servers. That's a big step up from just simply having a hosting service. But what that means is I've got to do more myself. And so I then had to go through what you have to go through, and then working with also the person who works with my servers to get my website back up. And it was just a technical glitch that happened with the server that caused the website to go down. But there are people who get paid just to periodically check websites and to make sure that they stay up, and they do that from home. There are people who do other kinds of analysis of websites and the time it takes pages to load and this, that, and the other. And that kind of work's available, and you can Google to find out more about that. Individually, doesn't pay much, but collectively, you can make a few bucks. Also, in these days, there are plenty of people who do freelance stuff. I use freelancers myself. I mean, there are freelance services out there that I have used to help me design logos, that have helped me to do certain research, and that I don't have time to do myself. And people do that work from home, and so they're Upwork. Was one that I use, and that's UPWORK. Upwork is one that I've used. It's been okay. I mean, oftentimes, when you use those kind of sites, you're usually working with people outside the United States, and sometimes the English is questionable and so on. But it's usually not very expensive. But the more expense that you're willing to put in it, probably the better quality of the person that you get. And some of these places like Fiverr, who I've also used, and that's five things with an extra R on it, Fiverr. And, I paid, and it came in Fiverr, they're best known for $5 services. So outsourcing, you only pay a guy $5. And in certain countries, that's a lot of money. But what you get, normally, you really have to work with the person. And I certainly have used things that I've gotten off of Fiverr, but usually it is a process. But if you're working from home and you want to put yourself out there on Fiverr that you'll provide something, certain people have virtual assistants, which I'm kind of thinking about, that will actually do things for you. And you might be able to engage somebody who's a little higher level, part-time, and if you're working from home, you might be willing to serve as someone's virtual assistant. I meet a lot of people and I get business cards. It'd be nice to have somebody just enter those cards in my database. I don't really have time for a lot of that, or update something I can use to update my contact list. And so if I meet you, I get your business card. I really don't have a whole lot of time to be sitting there all day to punching all the information in. There's certain services that allow you to scan that in. But if you don't want to do that, you want a virtual assistant, you want to work from home, those things work very well. I mean, certainly there are people who do child services where they take care of people's children from home. Some people walk other people's dogs. All those kinds of things are available, Mr. Earl, in your question, from home. And some of those people do very well. Yeah, I'm interested if other people have good work from home ideas for folks who are home, but would like to make some extra dollars. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's and put that out there. Go again to the We 123, which is the username. Click on that, and just like Sean did this morning, and hopefully Jennifer will do tomorrow, you can then come into the green room, and we'll recognize you. And as you saw with Sean, isn't this amazing? You don't have to be at home and be stable. You can be walking, jogging, in your car or whatever it might be, and we can bring you into the broadcast and we can talk about whatever we're going to talk about. So that's the thing I like about how this two-way talk thing has evolved. The fact that occasionally you might have your signal drop, or it might be a little static. Well, that's not any different than, for me, the old days of which I used to do the two-way talk on radio. You have people that, static because they're trying to listen to the radio at the same time they're talking on the radio, and that will create feedback. So if you're talking at the same time, you got the radio in the background trying to listen to what you're saying, it won't work. So there are various kind of technical things that happen when you're two-way talking, even in radio. So some of that happens when we're doing it in social media. So be it. The same kind of thing works creating feedback in social media. So if I bring you on the broadcast, but then at the same time, you want to look at your computer and you haven't muted the sound, it'll create that feedback and static. So you got to mute the sound. You can see yourself. I got my laptop here. I can see myself doing my thing. About a 10-second delay. Yeah, I do this to make sure I'm continually broadcasting. And if I saw something happening out there, then I could deal with it to keep the show going. But all that's possible. And as I keep mentioning, you'll hear me mention many, many times, we'd like to help you do it. So if you've got an idea and you've got a voice, we'll give you a conduit. We'll work with you to get you produced out there, so that you can have your own show, and you can work with your own following, your own clientele, your people who you're trying to do business with. We'll help get that done for you. So again, if you'd like to hear more about it or contact me and have us work with you, it's Nate, Nate, at thewe.world, not .com, .world, WRLD.world. So, that's one of the things that you'll continue to hear me talk about, because I really want to see more and more of us take advantage of this. We'll be able to broadcast. Some people like YouTube, some people like Facebook, some people like Instagram, but we can set you up in such a way that you'll broadcast on all those platforms. Some people have more than one page, like me. I've got more than one page, and you want to broadcast to all those pages. We can help you in doing that. I've got the Nathan Chapman page in addition, which is a fan business oriented page, and I have my regular personal page, which is Nathan Chapman, and then I've got what we do under the We. So we broadcast to all of them, and we could in the future. We can help you in any pages that you control or that you are an administrator on that you can broadcast to. But in addition to that, to broadcast to Instagram or to YouTube, or even to embed something in a website that you have and broadcast the simulcast to the website itself, which is, fantastic. I like doing that. So, and I think that's important. And I always talk to people who want to do social media to say that you need to, how we build up, your email list and contact list, and also how you might broadcast straight to the website. Because in doing so, if for any reason Facebook doesn't like what you're doing, or some other people like what you're doing, then you're not out of the game. Now you've got a email database that you can make people aware that you're broadcasting from your website, and they can come to the website and see what you're talking about and guess that you're doing and all that. If something were to happen, hopefully it will never happen. But that you always want to be able to have access to all of the social media platforms, and that you're not violating the rules. But it's certainly not uncommon that people get kicked off because they're got music playing in the background that they can't prove that they own. That's a biggie, because you've got entities who are, you've got artists who are constantly suing people who are using music without permission. And so Facebook doesn't want to be a part of that. And so if you use music and it's not clear that you have the permission to use it because you paid for it or artist is giving you permission, then you're likely to get blocked. Now, does that have any reason, there's a reason why we don't use a whole lot of music in this broadcast? Well, no, not really. We've got some access to music. Maybe in the future we might do some things involving music, but I can say that there are things that can happen where you might get blocked from using the platform. And we very, very much recommend that you get a website up and rolling, and that you develop the ability to, if you develop a show and you want to go out there and talk to people, that you embed the show in the website and simulcast. If you don't know how to do that, then just, let us know, send me an email. I'll help you do it. And we can talk about things that you can do that we can help you monetize your following and, that type of thing. Things that you go beyond ads, and because of people talk about, well, if I put up on YouTube, YouTube does the Google ads, Google AdWorks, and I'll get a little piece of that, a few pennies off of that. And that's lovely. Or that, I can go out here and I can get a sponsor, and that sponsor will pay me for access to my following. And that's fine. Kind of everybody's doing that. But there are more direct things that you can do to monetize a following. And we'd be happy to talk to you about that. In fact, as I said, what I probably should do is to write a little book, maybe not a big one, but just a little book, and kind of get that out to people on things that you can do. Or I always say the best thing I can do is show you. I can show you better than I can tell you, and to show you what we do and how we do it in various shows. And so on to do that. So there are lots of things that you can do if you like the social media game, and I love it. Yeah, I love the fact that there's nothing standing in between me and you. That if you know where I'm at, I'm telling you I'm going to be here. And I'm going to talk about all subjects on this show. Other shows like Chapman Means Money, or Chapman Means Business, excuse me. We have entrepreneurs come on that show and they talk about their companies and products and what it takes to be an entrepreneur from their perspective and their path to entrepreneurship, and things, how they raise capital, how they deal with some of the personal things with family and friends and all, how to build a team, all the things that go into building a successful company. And so you'll be seeing some of that through Chapman Means Business. And what now we have agreed to call the Money Masters via Daisy. I'm going to talk about investments and get other people who are investment advisors to come on and talk about their perspective of making money. Some of the guys I used to work with and others, younger guys, kind of younger, I shouldn't say new, but just simply younger in the game than I am, who are doing some very interesting things. And sometimes in the old days, it would be kind of limited, those kind of shows. You get one or two people. I'm hoping to get more than that, to be honest. I'm hoping to get a team of folks who come in and chew the fat, talk about things, talk about the issues, or whatever they're investing in, because there's so many things. There's stocks, there's ETFs. ETF, you hear that term a lot. It's called exchange traded funds. Because certain mutual funds that do certain things are traded on a national exchange, and they're called ETF. And these acronyms can be confusing because ETF can also mean economically targeted funds. So you have to be concerned and careful about when someone says, "Hey, I want to put you in an ETF." Well, do you mean an exchange traded fund or an economically targeted fund? An economically targeted fund may be a fund that just invests in one specific type thing. That is, they may invest just in companies that don't invest in tobacco, or that don't invest in South Africa, or something like that, or who just invest in products that don't contain antibiotics or things like that. That's kind of what an economically targeted fund does. An exchange traded fund is just one that trades on the exchange, that you can look at the New York Stock Exchange and it's trading there. That's all that does. So we're going to be kind of touching on that in the whole Money Masters thing, and hopefully we'll be able to get some people interested in that, and that you can learn something from it. As I talk about entrepreneurship, I mentioned that my time up at MIT, and this book is one that I strongly recommend, and it was a book on entrepreneurship and the 24 steps. And I'm going to be talking about those steps, and I kind of recast those steps in certain ways, because I want to help everybody. I want to help those people who are entrepreneurs who are coming out of MIT, who already have access to this. I want to help people who are ex-offenders who are coming out of prison, and maybe starting a business might be their only way of creating their own job. So you might not be able to get a job, but you can create your own job, and through entrepreneurship. So, for example, Bill talks about creating your beachhead market, and in this book, which is an important thing, to create the market that you intend to be a dominant player in, and understand what that market is, define it, kind of whittle it down to its lowest level, and that is where you want to establish your beachhead, or what Bill Aulet, the publisher, the author of the book, from MIT, and he teaches all of not teaches, but is in charge of and teaches many of the entrepreneurship courses up at MIT. But he talks about the beachhead market. Well, for a book that I've kind of got the first draft on to kind of help ex-offenders in this, I call it your Bogard market. And your Bogard market is similar. The whole term is kind of a slang term that I'm going to Bogart something, is after the old actor Humphrey Bogart. And Humphrey Bogart was kind of a tough guy in the movie, and he embodies toughness. And the whole thing has gotten to be kind of a slang that, hey, you're trying to Bogart me, means you're trying to take over. You're trying to be dominant in my situation. And so a person who is establishing his Bogart market is taking over a certain segment, and you need to establish your Bogart market, because a lot of the terms here, as the way they're described, are great, but they may not have the appeal necessarily to someone who has not been exposed and maybe coming out of prison, ex-offender, something like that, or maybe looking at something that's a bit more targeted in terms. And that's why I kind of did that, because I really want to see everybody. Yeah, I think the future of this country, your own personal future, so much can be enhanced by either working with someone who has the vision and who is forming a business, or forming a business yourself. You don't necessarily have to do it, but if you can get with someone who has the dream, who's kind of moving on, has the vision, and assist them, then you're as much a part of it as the person who had the dream, and because he can't do it without you. One man cannot do it all. I can certainly tell you that you need assistance. I always say to people, I can do it all, just not at the same time. There's only so much time in the day. I can write my book and this and that and so on, and at the same time, and be here doing a broadcast, other broadcasts. So you need a team, and you need to have people who are showing you maybe some shortcuts and things of how to get things done. So that's really the hope of what I hope to do, and kind of my spin on this discipline entrepreneurship. But I certainly believe in it, and we're going to be talking about that as we go forward. Maybe even identifying some steps in Chapman Means Business, and in between we have guests to kind of work our way through this book and talk about what you ought to be doing to form businesses. Hey, we've kind of talked through our usual time today, so I want to bring this morning. Mornings with Nate to a close. And I thank you all who are out there who are listening. You come in and out of a 3-hour show, whether you're watching me in your car, on your cell phone, or some of the higher tech stuff that brings it up on a display, whether you're at home on your iPad, wherever you might be, whether you're my new friends down in Florida or other parts of the world. I want to thank you. And it's been a pleasure. And I'll see you tomorrow.